They're here to make $1. I'm here to make a difference. Don't get into it today. There will be many lessons. I hope you all have your notepad and take these lessons to heart. When I first came into the YouTube space, I was one of the few people who used my true name, Marquett Davon Burton, for there is no dirt on that name. That name is pristine the world over.
Send that to me. That's a bar. It doesn't sound like a bar, but it is. It's chock full of truth. Have you not read my book, The Black Box? I highly recommend it. Track my life. Figure out how much experience I had to get and how much struggle, how many businesses I had to build and fail to be able to be here and talk to you and explain things with wisdom, the wisdom of experience, not the guesses of you.
Please do rewind the script and let us take a listen at this theater at play.
Not the information that you get from Google, but those things you can only know from having lived and done things in this world, failed at things. And I can tell the difference between someone like me who's really done business, whether it was successful or unsuccessful, and the masses on the internet who basically just speak about that which they know not. I don't mind being late because I was pursuing my dreams. That's a beautiful statement to be able to make. And it's true. You dig?
Here we go. Welcome to my life, by the way. Welcome to my life, ladies and saints. I'm about to share a bit of my life with you. And as we are all human beings, sometimes bits of my life will become bits of your life, which is to say that we may share a common path. So pay attention, for there are many, many lessons.
I could sit here and tell you guys the truth of everything and people will still be broke. You feel me?
Are you guys ready to open your eyes? Or will you remain in a slumber? That's how we landed here. That's how we landed here. You're sleeping. If you seek the truth, you may find comfort. If you seek comfort, you will never find the truth. If you seek the truth, you may find comfort, but you also may find great discomfort. Sometimes the truth is extremely uncomfortable. As I said, I'm the conscience of the internet.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get to this news. Breaking news. But red pill is nonsense. There's no standards. You got fat red pillars. You got skinny red pillars. You got buff red pillars. You got emaciated red pillars. You got ones on drugs, ones on... It's just ludicrous. I mean, not a group I'd want to be a part of. A group where anyone can join. Absolutely not. Anyways,
it doesn't make much sense. How much sense does it make to have any dating podcast or men's focused podcast, and men are interested in women, and you're bringing on a dude who dates other dudes? This is strange. What I'm telling you guys is that your sacred spaces where you think that you're fighting against the Matrix, I'm telling you that is the Matrix. I'm telling you that the men that claim they're alpha males are not the alpha males. I'm telling you that it doesn't make any sense that you trust guys who are married to tell you about dating. It doesn't make sense that you trust guys who are overweight and out of shape to teach you how to be a strong man. I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense to listen to dating advice from guys who date guys. I'm telling you that the world is upside down currently. I'm telling you that the ones who talk about the Matrix as a bad thing are the Matrix. Come on now.
You guys you're a savage. Okay. You're a beast. Okay. You're a real man. Okay. You're RP. Okay. We're just a couple sentences in, and it's been so instructive so far. I mean, there's just so much that we can extract from this.
Now, one thing I want to shout out to Marquett Davon Burton. Shout out to that man, host extraordinary, because that man was truly, Marquett Davon Burton, the Saints, they call him the Saint for a reason. That man was truly saintly. And shout out to all of you, because we really do have the leadership class here. There are no dummies that follow my work. It's all real thinkers. Now let's get back to this.
This is why people have a problem with Marquett Davon Burton, because I can't sit here and listen to somebody go through this nonsense without being like, hold on 1 second. You're dumb. Hold on. You're dumb. Like, in truth be told, we're in that era where it's like, Man, desperate times call for desperate measures. We have too many dimwits having a lot of kids. We need to balance this out. We have a society where it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the weakest. You heard me? I got a lot of bars saved up.
People who listen to me, these are high IQ, high earning people. Believe that.
I wanted to help the kids and teach them that there is a way to make it in this land of opportunity. I went and became a teacher because that's how I rose up through education. That's my problem. I can't help it. I'm driven by my principles to a fault. Because the truth is, there ain't many like me. The people who are as smart as I am don't care to talk to you, and they don't care about you. They're part of something called the intelligentsia. Why don't they care to talk to you or teach you anything? Because they're already financially well off. There's no incentive for them to rock the boat or change the system because they benefit within the existing system. And I'm strongly driven by morals and principles because that's what I was raised on. But anybody else that's driving a 6-figure car and lives in $1 million house and has a lot of money, they're not going to try to change the system or help you out. So appreciate me while I'm here.
So please pay attention. The ism is deep, apparently. They ain't getting it. Now, let's teach some man lessons here. Because the American government will not be around to support you, I promise you. They can't even fill the potholes in the roads today. They're in trillions of dollars of debt. By the time you are old, you will have to provide for yourself. You need to start preparing now. So this is what your government is doing. So for every single person in America, they all owe $100,000 if you want to look at it like that. But here's hundreds of thousands. Here's hundreds of millions. Here's hundreds of billions. The national debt is at 34 trillion and it's growing as we speak. Wow, was that $1 million that we just grew in debt while I was talking? Okay, so we're growing millions of dollars just by the seconds. That's how incompetent your government is. It's sick and sad. Evil, in fact.
How do you live in the greatest country in America and there's no evidence of that? In the United Arab Emirates, cranes everywhere, they're building. It's a dreamland. In China, cranes everywhere. They live in the future there. In America, decay, decrepit roads, hollowed out blocks of abandoned homes. Our infrastructure in decay, our kids not being taught right, immigrants, illegals invading our borders. We're housing them in the schools that are supposed to teach our kids, and we wonder why the kids don't know anything. Drug epidemics in the Midwest, methamphetamines and fentanyl. We think we can protect ourselves from terrorism, but can't figure out how these drugs are getting in our borders. Somebody's lying. The brainwash is extraordinary. Imagine I flew into my own country as an American with an American passport. They searched me up like a criminal. Search me and everyone like a criminal. The guy at TSA barely speaks English, is telling me I'm not qualified for global entry. I've been flying around the world with no problems. They searched me like a criminal at TSA and they let strangers pour in through the southern border from various nations, not even having so much as a fingerprint. But you American citizens, they treat you like criminals in your own country where you pay taxes and you're a sheep and you take it. That doesn't disturb you? You don't wonder where has your human instinct for freedom gone to? Where has your spiritual inclination gone to? Have you forgotten what God is? You think these government people are God? You let them rule over you and tell you what to do as though they are not of flesh and blood like you are? We're so lost.
Don't be mind blown. No, take it in and deal with what it really is. Burn it up and then carry on. A lot of the things that you pay for monthly, like a car, a house, all these things, they didn't used to be monthly payments. Yeah, I know, you might not believe it. Yeah, it used to be that if you're an American, you save up your money and you go buy a house, and the house was $30,000. And you can save up $30,000. Yeah, you go buy that joint cash, and it's accessible to everyone to do that. Oh yeah, and it used to be that an average man, not a successful man, not a wealthy man, not a great man, but an everyday man, he could afford to go into a basic job working at a factory, and his old lady could stay at home. She ain't have to go out in this world and work and be in the midst of men. Yeah, he could afford that on a janitor salary. That's how it used to be. And he could also afford to buy a home on a janitor salary. The problems we're experiencing right now are due to bad government. Intentionally bad. It's due to you guys being comfortable with the things that are occurring. And I got to do a trending news segment when I can get my heart around it, because there's just so much wickedness going on right now. It's like I can barely stomach it. But come on.
Only the foolish among you will be fooled. Huh? That makes sense, right? Only the foolish among you will be fooled. Children, women, and dimwits will be fooled. You know, women are lovely creatures. They're understanding. They believe in inclusion. They tend to be nice at the wrong time sometimes. Saddens me to see good people be fooled. Most of the times that you get fooled, you are fooled by yourself. I talk to you because I have something to teach. Many come here to teach, but how many of them are actually teachers? My actual training, I was professionally trained as a teacher, and I've taught at the elementary level, the middle school level, the high school level, and the university level, and the graduate school level in a paid capacity. It's different. Come on now. They're here to make $1. I'm here to make a difference. Understand. And not all of you will. I speak to the leadership class. I don't speak to the dimwits. They'll never get it.
And you'll notice that consistently when people are lying or making up things, they cannot elaborate, which is to say they cannot add detail, they cannot explain. Similarly, you'll see when people make up things about me, they can only use the lies because the truth of who I am is quite impressive. And when they make a claim, I say, okay, well, explain it to me. They can never explain. So that's the simplest way to break apart liars. You let them talk long enough, it always falls apart.
Like you're making up a story right now. I don't believe you. This is nonsense. Anyway.
But don't lie to us like we're stupid. Come on now. That's number one.
When I hear people make up stuff like that, it just makes me want to like put my footrest up. That's what it makes me want to do. I'm trying to refrain from that though. Hashtag broke boy.
Look at people just making up stuff in the comments. It's ridiculous. By the way, if you think you're smarter than me or you're more knowledgeable, I would like to learn from you. Please send in your $15 with your email address and I will send you a link. And we can talk about economics, macro, micro. We can talk about geopolitics, history, whatever you like. But anyways, don't make up things in the comments, please. You're misguiding people with your own ignorance. Anyways.
But people have such a lack of self-awareness. It's like, dude, you're a random person on the internet I've never heard of. You're making a claim that is completely unbelievable. You don't have your true name. You don't have your photo. Have some self-awareness. You look dumb when you don't have self-awareness. You might not be dumb, but you look dumb. And your goal in life should be to look good. You know, looking good is a critical part of success, I tell you. In fact, it's a critical part of feeling good. You want to look good.
I wanted to bring Seth on because there was a time that I had a live session and I was explaining the fraudulent nature of Stephen Bonnell, also known as Destiny the Gamer. And I had showed him basically saying that NFTs were a scam. Then he turns around and starts selling NFTs to his fans. And the true nature of a dishonest person, I call him a scammer, show the evidence, and then he just says, well, you're a scammer. I was like, how's that? And he says, you scammed your fans on an NFT. I was like, no, actually, I had a whole conference. Seth was there as the lead, the technical lead, and we taught folks how to create crypto, how to create NFTs from scratch. And so I want to bring on Seth to have a discussion about that. And you know, the funny thing, Seth, is that we're in an era now where you can have some dumb kid whose life is based on playing video games. He has no formal education. He doesn't even have informal education. He's not been through a boot camp of any sort, has no software pedigree whatsoever, has no startup background, has no business background. And then him and a multitude of imbeciles can come on and try to make fun of someone who's intellectually superior to them. And the strange thing is, like, I wondered, Seth, I was like, do the people watching know that these guys are lying and making up stuff, or are they also being fooled? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's definitely like an echo chamber, right? So if you watch this guy enough, then obviously they're going to like try to support him. And so if he's attacking you, then they want to attack you too, so they can be part of the cool fan base sort of thing. And some of it's just like completely made up. Like I said, it's kind of ridiculous, the stuff they were throwing at you for no reason. You know, as far as previous experience, I'm a software engineer at a lot of different companies. Worked in Fortune 500. I worked at Fortune 1, which is Walmart. I went to engineering school at Missouri S&T. Can do rockets, can do all that kind of stuff. So super confident in my technical capabilities, and I was able to come to the conference and teach a lot of people about it. And I'm sure if you bought the PowerPoint afterward, it had exact instructions on how you could set up your own coin. I had some consultations with some people afterward that are setting up their own gig. And some of the people that I had consultations with have gone on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars more than they were when I met them. So super proud of the stuff that we're doing here. Peace of the Saints. Love it that I'm able to say all this to you guys.
By the way, anytime someone who's in the tech industry comes online and says the following statement, which sounds humble, but is really a hard statement to say confidently, he says, "I'm confident in my technical skills." See, you've never been around software. That didn't really land on you guys, but it should land, because when someone can say that, you're extraordinarily confident, because people will ask you about any random thing, and just to feel like you can like talk about it is pretty significant. Because I mentioned firmware. Some people are like, what the hell is firmware? Right? Like, like firmware is when you actually have a physical device and it's a software running just on that device, such that that device can interact with another piece of software. And then, as he said, he dabbles in the crypto side and the NFT side and generating those things. And then also rockets as well. So the breadth of technical competence is really extraordinary in one person. A lot of people say that they're full stack, and they're not even full stack. I think it's hilarious that you just happen to be in a place called St. Louis. It's a beautiful thing. And one thing that I want to note to you is the man said, I can build rockets. God damn it. The man can build rockets. Just in case that slipped by you, you're dealing with a bona fide genius here. Yeah, his IQ is higher than all of ours added together. So have some damn respect.
I just thought it was funny that I watched that Destiny clip and they were like making fun of you for saying that we built this wallet and everything in the CLI. They were saying, oh, I got my command line up. How am I supposed to do this? I was like, it's literally right there. Read the instructions. Like, what are you trying to make us stupid? Like, that's exactly how you do it. You can either put it on a USB drive, you can put it on your hard drive, you can, there's like cloud wallets you can put it in, but all this stuff can be accessed through a CLI for whatever blockchain you're working on. So it's ridiculous that these guys are coming on and saying, making fun of you for saying that, yeah, we did this through the CLI. You guys saw it. It was in the terminals, all that stuff. So they're just defrauding you. It sucks. It's a total shame.
We just have to be real with the reality of human beings that we're dealing with. I'm not talking to you about how the world should be. I'm talking about how the world is.
God damn.
This is why, everybody ain't gonna love what I gotta say, because I'm just giving you the facts. I notice with human beings, you hate the truth. You hate the truth. People say the truth will set you free. It'll also embarrass you, get you mad, and put you in denial. Don't forget about that part.
Because the truth is, for you to have access to someone like Seth, you'd have to be someone like me. And so if you don't have a significant technical background, if you haven't run tech startups, you're not going to meet someone like Seth. Did you say you worked at Fortune 1? Can you explain to someone what Fortune 1 is?
Sure. So Fortune 500 is made up of all the companies making the most revenue in the world, right? So
In
obviously,
the world, I'm just going to echo. Go ahead.
so Walmart has the most revenue coming in. So I'm not sure if they're as profitable, right? Because they have the brick and mortar stuff to work on. So Fortune 500 isn't based off profit. In that case, it's probably like Amazon, right? Because they don't have brick and mortar. But so both Walmart and Amazon are up there. These are usually in the stock market, right? They're the stocks that are driving the majority of the S&P 500 and other indexes like that as well, just because they're generating the most revenue. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, and I'm just going to re-break it down in layman's terms. Yes, he's saying like the wealthiest corporation on the planet Earth is where he worked. The number one on the entire planet Earth. They don't hire people who are not elite. So will you meet someone like him just walking around or even at your local university? Nah, hell nah. Nah, you're not going to. So when you can get some time from someone like that, it's going to accelerate your life because his experience and perspective is truly unique and seasoned. And as he said, one of the gentlemen who did a consultation with him is making six figures now, significant six figures. You know, sometimes people like to use that term. They're talking about entry six figures, like 100K. You know, there's levels to things, right? There's 100K all the way up to 900K if you can do math. So anyways, there's that. We do have the conference, which you can get at thesasn.com/products. I also, Seth, I don't even know if you know this, I have a course, and I'm going to be doing a live session for this one upcoming soon because we just finally made some progress because we were getting jammed up by Amazon Web Services. I have a course called How to Create and Monetize Your Own App. And the reason I did that course, because you've been in the business and we've both had some success and some challenges in the software business, and the revenue model to me is the heart of the challenge. Anyone can build an app, but selling an app is a different story. So for the right, you want to talk about that?
Oh, 100%. So that was my biggest problem is I come from this engineering background. I was like, it's always a, if you build it, they will come sort of thing. And it's just false. I had so many people, even after we did our accelerator stuff, like tell me, hey, if you go build this app for me, I'm going to be able to sell it to everyone where it's going to be super big. And so you won't get anything right now, but once we start making money, you'll be in for it. And they promise you that kind of stuff. And then you build it for them. And then they try to go sell it and they fall flat on their face. You're like, oh, I just wasted some time. So when you go into those type of projects, you have to be like willing to just like do it for the learning and do it for the, the fun of it. So make sure you're interested in whatever you're going into. But yeah, it's hard to trust anyone now when they come up and say, I got this great idea, just go build it for me and then I'll sell it. Because, that sometimes you just fall flat on your face. And I think it's important, those marketing skills and stuff they don't teach in tech school. And it's good to all those entrepreneurship. And so the only places you can really get them are from people who are actually doing it, like Marquett. So it's a great person to talk to for that.
I'm going to stop right there. Okay? There we go. And do know that anytime you support this work, it goes straight back to folks like you. We have a number of folks who have been fans and members over time and are now on payroll. And most of the times we don't cover payroll each day, but this money goes straight back to folks like you. When you buy my products, or rather when you shop at my websites, you're generally buying products from people just like you who took a consultation. They learn product-based business. They now have a product that I'm supporting and marketing, and the money goes straight back to the audience. I don't think you can see that anywhere else on YouTube, where someone is really actually putting the money back in the pockets of members, and more importantly, teaching them product-based business, not get-rich-quick schemes, not nonsense with cryptocurrency and NFTs and fake investments, but creating real products that will add value and can sustain you over a lifetime through actual business. Let a man get a thrill from risks that are going to pay dividends over the long term. You hear me? You you jump out of a plane, 5 minutes later, what do you have? 5 hours later, what do you have? So please pay attention. The ism is deep, apparently. They ain't getting it. Now, as soon as I get into the entertainment space, which is what YouTube is, I find that you're exposed to average people. running tech businesses, you're not exposed to average people. You're dealing with investors who are high net worth individuals. You're dealing with technologists who are highly diligent or sophisticated or intelligent. And you're dealing with a couple folks on the business side who are already established, no amateurs. So you're not dealing with the general public. You're dealing with upper crust society. When you get into the entertainment industry, there's something called a fan, right? You're dealing with strangers, people who are imbeciles, and you're exposed to gen pop. And as a result, you hear a multitude of idiotic things, and you're also, for the first time, exposed to haters and hatred. And it's frankly quite astounding. I kid you not. I think maybe 20% of my Instagram following are utter psychopaths who truly hate me, whether for who I am individually or just because of the demographic I belong to. In both cases, this is wickedness on display.
And, you know, the funny thing is a lot of these YouTubers and influencers, they're lying. They're lying and they're broke. And just look at their thumbnails over the past 4 months, and then look at my thumbnails over the past 4 months, like where I'm actually at. They don't have it like they say they have it. Trust me. If they did, they'd be on the scene like a sex machine. You dig? I'm really out here. I mean, during the pandemic, we went to Brazil on 2 separate trips. We went to Colombia on 2 separate trips. We went to Mexico City getting mariachi suits made. I mean, we went on 5 separate international trips during the pandemic in 1 year. Most people don't go on 5 international trips in a lifetime. It's sad but true. And I share it with you not to be boastful, but so that you know it can be done. So that you know you just gotta want it. Oh, it can be done.
Last time I checked, money making was a good thing. You hear me? What planet are we on? Last time I checked, somebody getting to the bag, they getting after what they should be getting after. Last time I checked. So since when do we criticize that kind of thing? When do we hate people for earning? Like, word? I think it's worth doing a little bit of show and tell. So as I said, you know, here's some Polish currency here. And here is some whoa. What do we got here? That just fell out. That's a pity. Here's some Singaporean currency. These are Singapore dollars right here. So you see that these things tend to be multicolor. Are these Singapore? Yeah, Singapore dollars. So these things are multicolor. So quite beautiful for the other currencies in the world, no doubt. I'd say like most of them look much better than our own. But our own is unique in that it's uniquely ugly. It's uniquely monochrome in the coloration. So very simple. Ours do not tend to have buildings on them or animals, or in Africa, you'll see animals in Brazil, and you'll see animals on other people's currency. This is the country of Georgia right here. And so you see these multicolors and different sizes as well. The Japanese currency is quite fascinating. Here's Japan. It really looks old world, but you see they have the animals and different. You'll see architecture and things like that on different currencies. But anyways, our currency is iconic. No one else's currency is iconic. You hear me? I don't want to hear what, like, if somebody else said like, oh, the euro is iconic, please stop. No, them Benjis are iconic. You dig? Them Benjis are iconic. So with that being the case, these are dirhams from the United Arab Emirates. Most famous city you might know from there is Dubai. So these are dirhams. And as they have like random cultural items on it. They don't necessarily always have like a man's face. I think that's something very fascinating about the European mindset. And I think the European mindset, especially historically, has been, these folks are pretty smart. They're pretty sharp. Not today, but they've been pretty sharp. And here's Kenya. It's African currency, obviously, in the country of Kenya. And there you go, a lion. That's keeping in line with stereotypes, right? Then you have the Swiss franc. This is a fine currency. Like, I would for sure be down to load up on Swiss francs, right? That's a good one. So another franc, yes. So anyways.
They'll never get it. We getting into it today. We're going deep. Pause. I think Tommy might have liked that. You heard me? Tommy and them other guys, I like people to fiddle around with their backside. Getting excited watching this. It's a shame. It's a shame. Also, may I say one more thing? When you look at all these other rascals, you wonder why they don't stand on principle, mostly because they're broke and ugly. And don't trust people who are broke and ugly. But the fact of the matter is this: they came here for a cash grab. All you have to do is look at their word. Look, what were they before YouTube? What were they before they started babbling in front of a microphone? Nothing. Every single one of them. Anytime you find someone who was something before they came on YouTube, they're always more civil. These guys will say and do anything for content. What does that translate to? Money. Ads. They want views because they're running ads on the channel. What do views and like matter to me? There's no ads on this channel. Hundreds of millions of views. No ads. Doesn't make me a penny. I talk to you because I have something to say. We are seeing filth and decadence and immorality overtake the society. Didn't come in with fake aliases. Came in under my true name, which I've built up over time, living in the same respectable way. We have many disbelievers who say, oh, no, he can't be what he says he is. There's no way he exercises every day. There's no way he's never had a sip of alcohol. There's no way he's never engaged in drugs. There's no way he's never used caffeine. There's no way he is what he says he is. And you see the demons and devils among us. No, the devil is not down below holding a pitchfork. There are devils among you and I. They're mostly broke and ugly.
Hashtag broke boy.
Shout out to the haters, man. Because the haters go to the metaverse to try to drag your boy through the dirt. They go to the metaverse, man.
A lot of these folks in the podcasting space, they've never been successful at anything in life. They've never done anything in corporate. They've never done anything in business. They're unprofessional. They're immature. They're self-absorbed. I mean, just imagine how self-absorbed you become when your job has been filming yourself, right? You're going to be self-absorbed. And so that's what you're dealing with. Like, get away from me. I don't even want to breathe the same air as you. I'm breathing premium air over here. Nigga, you breathing discount air. Like, go over that way, man.
If you're like, Marquett's arrogant, it's like, that's fine, but look at what the nigga done. Like, he's come from quite a distance. Like, well, what do you mean, Marquett? When I was born, my father was in prison for selling crack cocaine, youngin'. When I was born, my mother was on crack cocaine. I'm an actual crack baby. I went to horrible public schools in Los Angeles. I grew up part-time with my grandmother who had dementia. If I can make it, you can make it. I am the American dream. I am the result of intelligence and hard work consistently applied. You hate on someone like me, you hate yourself. That's all there is. You hate yourself. I'm the American dream. So when you see somebody like me, you gotta respect it, man. If you can't respect it, there's something wrong with you. And you gonna rock with him over the big homie? Bruh, it's crazy. Now, granted, it's a minority of people. But you still have to question the society we live in where we prize weakness and gossip among males instead of prizing men who are action-oriented, the doers in the society. Huh? The world's sick out here. We got a sick world out here. Anyways,
but shout out to the multitudes who have made an industry of reacting to the big homie, your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. You dig? Here we go. And don't waste life, ladies and saints. It's 3:30 a.m. here where I am, and truth be told, I was in bed trying to get some sleep, and I wasn't sleepy, so I said, why waste my life laying in bed? I'm on go time. You dig? Let's get this work, man. And I want to remind all of you guys, you might not be sitting at home like, I want to be just like the big homie. You might not be thinking that. You might not be at home thinking, I want to be like the bald head lover. You might be at home not thinking, I want to be like the gorgeous gangster, the handsome hustler, Kent Drippy Jr., Flex Luthor. You might not be at home thinking, I want to be like the idol of James Bond, Marquett, Davon. You might not be thinking that. However, when I tell you these things, I speak from experience. I speak from, a real wisdom, and you know that I'm who I say I am. A lot of these jokesters, they're alpha male tough, red pill, alpha male tough. But they're all cowards, nerds, and snitches. The whole of them. And I encourage my haters who were so gassed up when the coppers pulled me over with a clapper on me and many bands on me. Not like the rappers, they had them bands of 20 thou wow. Nah, the big homie had big bands. You dig, lots of them. And, about 4 coppers and an undercover pulled me over. I encourage the haters to get that footage. I want to see the body cam footage. How did Marquett behave under pressure? How did Marquett behave? That's what a measure of a man is. You find his measure when he's under pressure, when things are not going right, when the chips are down. These guys can teach you nothing. They can teach you nothing about being a man. So I wouldn't waste time with them. Now let's go ahead and take a look-see.
And by the way, I don't need anybody hating on me unless you can control your whole home with an iPad. Unless you can do that, I don't need you hating on me. You have bigger fish to fry. You have other priorities, honestly. You have other priorities, trust me. That's the problem. People don't have their priorities in order. Come on now. Listen, the true story. If when you walk in your bathroom, if your toilet doesn't open up to acknowledge your presence as a man, you don't need to be hating on me, okay? When your toilet acknowledges you as a boss, then fuck with me. But before that, just shut up, all right? Just shut up. And you guys who've been following me a long time, there've been a number of times I've done tours for you guys, and you already see what I'm living like. If you guys have came to Saint City for my conferences, we do the conference, which is what you paid for. Then I take you out to some crazy penthouses that you ain't never seen nothing like it. If your toilet does not acknowledge you when you walk in the room, shut up. Go ahead.
I crush every bone known to scientists. Little homie, we are so not on the same level, man. I smash more broads than you. You dig? My cars are not in threat of being repossessed like yours are. I will sock your out so easy. I look better than you. I'm taller than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm more everything than you. Don't you ever bring me up, boy. Boy, it's a joke for you to bring me up, man. Anyways.
If you check my background in terms of my actual contributions, it's not just words. I went in to teach for America and I taught young black kids, probably similar to the one that he abandoned and left to the foster care system. Why do I have that sensitivity? Because my mother used to work with emotionally disturbed youth, kids in foster care, kids in group homes. I got to see that when I was growing up, to see what a child experiences when they don't have a family, they don't have a mother, they don't have a father, they don't have a grandparent that will take them, and they're left to live among strangers in a group home where nobody really cares, in a group home with lazy government employees, in a group home with adults who abuse them, in a group home with other kids that are traumatized and sick in the head and do sick things to these kids. I've seen it. I didn't experience it, thank God. Allahu Akbar. But I've seen it and it's disgusting. Too many kids out here suffering because of people like you. You still want to be a kid when we need you to be a man.
You read my book, there's so many stories of children that suffer. That's really what changed my trajectory, seeing the kids suffer. That's what made me found a nonprofit. Hell, that's what made me become a teacher. That's where I direct my philanthropic dollars to this day. Kids who don't have parents, kids who are missing parents. You suffer when you don't have that one person in your life who loves you no matter what. Do you know what it feels like not to have a mother? Most of you don't. And that's a beautiful thing. Allahu Akbar. It's a beautiful thing. Because a mother loves you no matter what. No matter how incompetent you are, how fat, stupid, ugly you are. You were born with genetic defects. She doesn't care. She loves you. There's a love that is so pure that comes from a mother. You'll never get that anywhere else. You will not get that from your wife. You won't get it from your father. You won't get it from your siblings. Imagine what it's like to be a kid without a mother. Those are the kids we need to put some energy into. Like all this energy into debates. It's like, what are you doing, really? And I always welcome meaningful competition on doing good things. You might be sitting there like, Marquett, what have you done for orphans? And I can go through it. And I'm very proud of that work. It makes me feel like a worthwhile person. And I would encourage you to beat me, to outperform me in helping children. But I would never try to outperform you in a fucking debate. The real topic is masculinity. Welcome. Welcome to the intelligent world. I tricked you to get you here, stupid. But you guys are here to learn.
There's other large YouTubers who actually subscribe to me publicly. I always, when I see these big YouTubers subscribe to me, I'll screenshot it. It's a couple big YouTubers I'm not going to name. They subscribe to me, and I hear them on I'll hear them on Piers Morgan, and Piers will ask them something, and then they'll say something, and they'll quote me verbatim without quoting me, without acknowledging that it's my words. So I'm your favorite
YouTuber, Freshly Snipes. Freshly Snipes, Ken Drippy Jr., Davon Gotti, the one they couldn't stop me. The idol of James Bond, Marquett, Davon Burton, the Saints, and the Sinner. Oh, we going in today, ladies and saints.
I don't even know what TikTok money looked like. I don't even know if you can make money on TikTok because I got banned at like 250,000 subscribers. I don't even know what TikTok money means. They never let me do ads on there. I don't know what Instagram money looked like. I never made a penny on Instagram. I don't know what Twitter money looked like. I never made a penny on Twitter. I barely know what YouTube money looked like because they don't let me run any ads on YouTube. And I never tried. And when I first started, I told you guys I'm not going to run ads. You're going to watch my content ad free. So I don't even know what YouTube money looked like. So tell us what the money looked like. Don't nobody give a damn about your subscribers, my boy. You's a weird ass nigga.
It's crazy for me to think of that. Like, wow, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years. To me, that's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's hard to accept, but I feel like this is all fickle and fake because I don't perceive like making a video or making a live stream to be a real value add because I'm used to very tangible value ads. And that's why I always talk to you guys about product-based business products. Like here's a product. I actually punched my speed bag off of the goddamn thing. So this is a terrible product, but the fact is it is a product indeed. And products pay, whether people like you or don't like you, products pay. So I still do product-based business. I still do business in general. I still invest. I'm still acquiring assets. I'm still doing all of the things that will keep me paid and keep my money machines rolling without YouTube. And I've not invested fully in YouTube because I don't trust it. I do not trust it. I don't trust the people who own YouTube, the Google corporation. I don't trust the fans. I don't trust nothing about it. So the fact that I'm 4 years in and I still am like, wow, this is a privilege. It's a privilege for me to be able to speak to you. It's your privilege to hear. It's my privilege to speak. We are both privileged, and privileges can get taken away at any moment.
You track a lot of these YouTubers, you track their background. They were on like dating shows, they're on reality TV. They wanted to be famous. No, I never wanted to be famous. Not at all. I have bigger goals and more important things to do than YouTube on a regular basis. And so I always prioritize those things. When I stop to talk to you guys, that is me taking a break from a beautiful life. And so if I can unpack or knock out two things at once, I have to because I'm that busy. I'm not like those nerds that are in their studio 24/7, they never go anywhere. I've been to 7 countries already, 7 countries in the last couple weeks. So I'm moving very quickly for good reason. So that is why, if you want quality content where I sit down, take out time, go through lecture notes, become a member at thesasn.com. That's THESASN.com. If you want quality, focused information, purchase one of the mini courses. If you want free information, then you're going to get free information at my convenience because I am a busy businessman, and that's just the fact of the matter. You might consider being thankful. You heard me? You might consider being thankful and ask yourself, okay, what have I done for Marquett Burton? Not a damn thing. He doesn't even know my name. I've never done anything for him, but I've watched his content for 4 years, never sent in a single dollar. You have no right to complain. You should just be thankful. So I want you guys all to go through your life with a sense of being thankful. It's important, okay?
Shout out to those really supporting. And also shout out to the freeloaders who haven't clicked the like button or anything. They're like, look, Marquett, I have no respect for anything on earth. I'm not clicking the like button. I'm not sending $1. And I'm just here. F everybody. A shout out to them too. We need you.
I make videos. I make live streams. But the big difference is that I spend time in real life. I spend time on the phone. I spend time on text, unpaid time, because I care. And it has so much ROI. And the most important thing that I'm trying to do is to create an example the kind of example that a guy like Brandon Jamal never had.
But you's a soft nigga, B. You's a soft nigga.
What is soft? I was literally,
nigga, man.
May I speak?
I do not care at all. At all. There's a lot to break down here. It's very educational. So let's get to this work.
I'm going to repeat what I said before, which is that if you're going to be in the spotlight, you need to have grace, which is to say that if you're going to be the star, it comes with more love and it comes with more hate. That is the job. It comes with more love, more hate, more money, more women. That's the job. So if you can't handle that, then it's not for you. Like all of that and all that, that's not necessary.
I'm telling you I've been trying to tell you what the biggest frustration is, and you won't let me finish my thought. I told you from the jump, I have a stutter.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm
everything, because we're talking. It's not a disability because I don't wear it, but it kind of is. That's why I can't freestyle. Speaking is difficult for me.
Can you imagine, darling?
I'm sorry.
I think Brandon's taking a little bit of time to compose himself. While he's doing that, while he's composing himself. Listen, that was the most professional shit right there. I felt like one of those like weather newscasters or something like you, or like, you know, one of those newscasters like, yeah, I'm here right now in Beirut. It's a crazy war zone. And, you know, and like everything's, and then all of a sudden, an explosion happens and the news reporter dies. And I'm over like, okay, you know, it seems like Brent is having a little bit of trouble over there in Beirut. We're going to go and break to the Dodgers game right now. Just like doesn't acknowledge that shit at all. I felt like it was like that. It was really professional. Like I let my nigga cry and just went on with the show. I could have been like, this nigga crying, this nigga in the car crying. Like, you know, he going to go in the car and cry. It's disrespectful. I could have really went off on that. You feel me? Like if anybody's like, you're a clout chaser, nigga, that was my moment right there. Nigga, that was a viral moment. A nigga crying on live.
People who take individuals like this serious, it's just like, that's why I don't want to see these guys with a platform.
You're a loser. You're a loser. Those are called the facts, okay?
Upon my word, I will send the chariot for you. We can come and have a duel. Here's the irony of life. It's the cowards that suffer. Yes, the ones that scared and don't want the smoke. That's the ones that always get the smoke. Yeah, the ones that don't want the smoke, they gonna get the smoke. Yeah, but the ones that's like, smoke, I'd love some smoke. Don't nobody want a barbecue. I'm just here to teach, man.
I tell you the truth of how to live a happy, peaceful, prosperous life. When I tell you guys, do not engage in intoxicants, drugs, alcohol, that is because it will destroy you. It will not only destroy you directly by adversely affecting your health, it will put you in horrible situations that you do not want to be in. I promise you, man, we're in a wicked society with a wicked government. You're going to need to be clean out here. Keep your nose clean, man. An example of leadership, an example of masculinity, an example of being a rock in your community, a pillar. People come to you and you can help. Not where you're always going out asking everybody else for help. That's not a man. I was teaching school in Baltimore, Maryland, 11-year-old kids, man. They wasn't as soft as you, Brody. You can read about it in this fine masterpiece called The Black Box. You can get it on Amazon Prime. Over 500 reviews, all 5 stars. Why do I bring this up? Because this is a great book of guidance and truth for all of you.
And if you haven't read The Black Box, you are missing out, I promise you. And I don't say that to sell books, because truth be told, I don't think books make much money unless you're, JR or whoever the hell, or Tolkien, or whoever writes those damn Harry Potter books. Unless you're that, you ain't making no real money off of books. I wrote it because it is a guide to life today. It's a guide for the day that we live in.
What use are you as a traumatized man? Can you support a woman? Can you guide a child? Can you rule a nation? You can't do any of the above. People who go around talking about their trauma, 9 out of 9, they're selfish. Why? Pity me. Woe is me. Help me. Feel sorry for me. Give to me. But what do you give out? Listen, I like to, big myself up just as much as the next guy. I tend to think I sound better when I'm talking fly, you dig? But what I'm about at this stage in life is not making millions of dollars. I'm about making millionaires. I want to help the rich get richer, you dig? Yeah, people who are rich in spirit, who are rich in ambition, come to me. I want to make you richer.
And there's a lot of you like that. You're going to do so much in the world. And if I can help you magnify what you're going to do or be more confident in your approach, I feel like I've really brought some gifts to the world, you see. And of course, as have your parents. But if I can help unwrap it, man, that's an honor. That is an honor. If I can be a footnote in your life story when you write it, I'm happy.
And when I brag, when I really do my real bragging, I'm bragging on what I've contributed to other people, because that's the greatest measure. I'm bragging on the goodness that I've put out in the world. That's the greatest measure. I don't want to hear somebody talking about, oh man, I was viral. I went, 3 million views and I got 72 subscribers. I don't care, Brody. I don't care. That's the kind of man I am. I'm talking to you the way I would talk to you if you were sitting in front of me. I'm not talking to you with extra confidence because you can't touch me. I'm not talking to you with extra rudeness. I don't have extra bravado. I'm talking to you like I would talk to you if you were sitting in front of me. I have one way of being. I got one way to be. These motherfuckers out here two-faced, man. Lord knows this ball wouldn't be talking crazy.
Marquett Davon Burton lives and dies by his principles. There's not many like me. That's why you don't understand me, because we are not the same. So I'm a real believer in
Real member.
values, principles, morals. A male who plays with his backside, that is a disgusting individual. And that is a signal that he is globally immoral, meaning everything about him is immoral, selfish and narcissistic. He'll do anything for short-term thrill and gain. This is the kind of person you follow. If that's your leader, if that's your king, fantastic. When the revolution pops off, God willing, I have 2 spikes in front of my castle with each of your heads on them, okay? There's no middle ground here. People who engage in like disgusting things like that, nah, I don't sign off on it. Men who talk behind other men's backs, nah, I don't sign off on it. You see me, I'm a straightforward person. If I got an issue with somebody, I'm gonna bring it straight to their face and we gonna deal with it. We're not gonna talk behind backs. I don't condone it. I don't promote it. And I'm gonna make sure that the young boys watching me, they see a great example of a man.
As we journey to our wealth, we often consider business, entrepreneurship. Certainly, product-based business is far superior to service businesses. I hear from a lot of you, whether it's on one-on-one consultations, which if you would like, you can look at the SASN.com. That's THESASN.com.
I'm in product-based businesses, which is why I'm able to travel around the world at my whim. I don't have to actually show up anywhere. So that's number one. But what I encourage people when they're first starting off in business in a given pursuit is pick the easy route. Don't pick the hard route. So it's much wiser to spend your time, evaluating at the beginning, evaluating which business to go into, as opposed to evaluating how to make a tough business an easy business. I hope that makes sense to you. Someone who's a real man and is moving in that trajectory is going to say, thank you for the feedback. Point taken. I understand your point. I get it. Learn from what I have to tell you, and also follow in my footsteps in as much as I don't complain. I stay positive, but that doesn't mean that one isn't going through things that can make another man crumble. So follow that. That's the way a man should live.
But everyone wants an excuse. When people are like, when black folks always blame racism, it's not because they're black. It's because it's the easiest excuse. I've observed this my entire life. Black people have a strong inferiority complex. I mean that for the world of black people. It's strong. I never experienced this because I was raised to love, know, and understand what it is to be black. Not only on a historical level, but literally, what does it mean to be black? What is a melanocyte? Why does it produce melanin pigment? Where is melanin pigment found? What does it mean? What are the advantages? So I've always loved being black. I was raised by black people, black men and women. My grandmother was very dark, black, and loved being black. In short, without giving a historically grounded answer, in short, their biggest issue is knowledge of self. Most of these black males in our society today are white supremacists, which is to say they
don't believe that black is capable, black is any good. They do believe in their own inferiority. Certainly they, have an an inbred, a learned sense that whites are intellectually superior, more capable, more timely, things like that, more civil. And, in some ways, the evidence appears to show this. And so in their lack of self-knowledge, when you do not know the self, when you don't know who you are as an individual, but more importantly, on a biological, scientific level, what does it really mean to be black? And then on a historical level, what are the accomplishments of your people? Have the black peoples of the earth ever been great? When you're not familiar with that, then you feel as though you're a part of a people who have only had enslavement as a history and who are doomed to only be successful at certain things that you've observed us be successful at on a consistent basis, that being athletics and entertainment. And so they have a lack of examples and a lack of character education, and poor parenting, come from bad families. And that's why we see this kind of behavior. And that is why we must spread the ism. The ism saves lives.
On Martin Luther King's birthday, I say his speech and his message and his ideology, garbage. That's a critique. I have a dream. Nonsense. That's a critique. And then I say, I have a plan. Let me tell you what it is. I give you the oratory with practical steps, and I got a whole organization behind me. Huh? Yes, I actually put my hands in the soil and create. Check my whole background. You'll see it my entire life since I was a young boy. It's different. Everyone can complain. Everyone can complain. Who will build? Huh?
I encourage that the saints all consider themselves leaders and businessmen above all.
So I never had this inferiority complex, and that's why I always perform, because I was always told this is the best thing you can be. So with that pride, I always outperform. Most black people actually hate themselves. Shout out to Beyonce with the blonde wig. You heard me? Shout out to Meg Thee Stallion, who keeps getting lighter every day. She thinks she Lil Kim or Sammy Sosa. But I say that to say this. People who don't love themselves, people who have inferiority complexes, they believe that they are low persons, though they might not admit it out of their mouth. As a result of this mental reality, they tend to underperform to make sure that their self-view of being a low person always manifests in their material existence. So they screw up on purpose. There are many people who are screw-ups. They're not going to succeed, not because of racism, not because of the systemic racism and the oppression. They're not going to succeed because they're self-hating knuckleheads. That's why. Yeah, and they got every excuse, right? So I wanted to point that out because I observe this behavior in black folks a lot, man. It's not the lack of IQ. It's the fact that you hate yourself, and because you hate yourself, you're going to screw yourself over. Nobody else is screwing you over. You're screwing yourself over. Why? He doesn't want himself to succeed. Y'all don't hear me though. Are y'all understanding this? Are y'all understanding this? So the black peoples were the first on earth. So we have the genetic code for everyone, which is to say whites and Asians or Mongoloids, Caucasoids. And what you might be describing, such as the cheekbones or the epicantic eye fold, is originally a feature that comes from one of the black peoples, of which the Bushmen would be such peoples. And you're describing a fairly small portion of Africans, whereas if you look at the majority of Africans, they don't have these features. But I agree with you, it is present in our genetics, and just as even the features you might describe as European are present in our genetics at smaller levels. Obviously, at some level, the existence of the European is a variant of albinism, which is extreme melanin deficiency in hair, skin, eyes, etc. And so over time, when you have certain traits that make sense in a given environment, it creates a race. And so that's essentially what we see in the existence of the other races. Over time, these traits have stabilized because they were advantageous in a given environment.
Even white people are blaming racism now. You hear me? I can't tell you how many white guys blame stuff on racism and discrimination. I mean, sometimes it's true for both groups.
Well, this is an announcement to all of the white women, okay? It's like, I feel like the most unlikely person, but hey, I gotta speak on it because ain't nobody else getting it done. In fact, I'm gonna address both the whites, the males and the females. Females, if you're gonna bleach blonde, which I don't think you should, be yourself, you gotta keep it fresh. You gotta go back every 9 days. Keep them roots fresh, okay? White girls, keep the roots fresh. I don't want your roots looking all black like Kunta Kinte, and then you got the Aryan locks after. Like, come on, don't do that. Then with the white guys, here's my issue with you guys, all right? When black guys start balding, you know, we just cut all of our hair off and call it a day. Why guys will leave the George Burns joint around the side? I don't appreciate it, okay? Have some decency, have some self-respect, have some dignity, man. Cut that off. We don't need you just holding on to this reverse fade right here. It's not cool, man. I see you guys be doing that, man. Anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get on to the video.
I know every now and then I say some stuff that's a bit off color, maybe even racist, might even sound racist, but you know, we'd all be better off if we leave that stuff alone. Honestly, we would.
And sometimes you guys might be thinking, Marquett, it sounds like you're speaking for all of the races. That's correct. I am all of the races, all rolled into one. So yes, I am all of the races, and so I will speak for them. They're not meeting my standards. When people are thinking about becoming a millionaire, it almost saddens me, in as much as what you really need to be thinking about is how to get a product that is going to make you a bunch of money. How do you scale a product? When people are thinking about being a millionaire, they're thinking about the fruits of the labor, but they really need to be thinking about the labor. You need to be thinking about the labor, not the fruits of the labor. If you can focus on that labor and sustain and endure through boredom and tedium and challenge, then you're going to be successful. And truth be told, if people made $200,000 per annum, $300,000, $400,000 per annum, their lifestyle would be tremendous and they'd be very happy. And it'd be very easy to scale up to $1 million. But I think that's really, the real life. And I try not to make those sensational titles, how to become a millionaire in 5 days type stuff. But I get you though. I get you, bro. And maybe I'll use that title. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot that. Maybe I need to do that.
Very few people are going to be there with you to build a foundation. Very few people want to invest in you when you don't have anything to show. Very few people are going to believe in your idea. Very few people are going to support you. Everyone's going to wait until you win. And then they're going to be like, well, you're smart. I always knew you were going to win. You're ambitious. You're a hustler. I always knew you were going to be successful. And you're like, nah, bro, you didn't know that. You didn't feel that way. Nah, you did not feel that way until I made a bunch of money. And now you're like all on my meat, like you always knew. Nah, you didn't always know. There's just a couple people who really going to rock with you based off of your character from the beginning. And here's the thing. If nobody rocks with you, that's fine. You know, that's fine. So you just got to go ahead and get it done. The manosphere lies and claims that it's just the women waiting at the finish line to choose the winners. No, when people get across that finish line and everyone knows they're a winner, everyone all of a sudden wants to be around them. Just like I told you when I was sitting in that parking lot and a neighbor I'd seen many times, he never really says much, and then he see me in the whip and he's like, oh, that's my favorite car. Oh, hey man, what's your name? Like, nah, bro, like kill it. Knock that off, man. This is why I never go to the events in this building, because like I'm not trying to slap fives and be buddy with y'all, because this is where y'all live. This is just where my studio is, you dig? So nah, we don't need to slap fives. Everyone wants to choose the winners and be cool with the winners at the end of the race. That's not just women. No one wants to build a foundation with you. And you'd be a wise person to get in at the foundation level. And I'm going to make some contributions there. And the reason you would do that is because you come in early enough at the foundation and you're going to be appreciated. You might even get some equity in the business, and no one wants to come in at the foundation. That's how you get in and you become the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 guy, fifth guy in a company called Facebook, Apple, and all this other stuff. Because here's the thing, when Zuckerberg was him and his buddy and him and the Winklevoss twins, and it was like less than 5 people, nobody believed at that stage. When it was Steve Jobs and Wozniak, nobody believed at that level. So you go in and you put faith in people who are real hustlers and have good product. You have to be able to see talent and see people who are clever and know how to work hard. And more importantly, they know how to make adjustments. That's what being successful in a marketplace is about, making adjustments. You turn the hat from red to black. You turn the logo from a T to 2 a.m. You turn the logo from 4 different places where you got stitching to just 2. You've now reduced the cost of the product significantly. Those are the adjustments that turn you into a winner. You dig?
Your time on earth is valuable enough not to waste it, and your happiness is precious enough to prioritize it. 3-sentence Bible: be yourself, be good to yourself, and be good to good people. Walk that path. You don't have to walk someone else's path. Wishing you much success.
Let us start with stress. As I said, stress is a shapeshifter. It is essentially fear in essence. It may come in the form of a challenge. It may feel like stagnation. You're not moving forward.
That's what it comes down to, a negative feeling that you are not making progress. The number one challenge that you're going to experience that is stress is when you ignore problems. Do you ever leave something undone, something that nags at you and you know you need to get it done, but you've been avoiding it, pretending it doesn't exist or pretending it won't hurt you? Avoiding or ignoring problems is going to cause you stress because even though you've closed your eyes to the problem, it's still there.
Human beings are inclined to complain. They're inclined to be weak. They're inclined to make excuses because it's easier. It's easier to be weak than it is to be strong. It's easier to be lazy than it is to be ambitious. It's easier to make excuses as opposed to make things happen. Huh? Come on now. And you know what? I always love to hear these stories. Not that you were suffering, but that you've gotten beyond suffering. This is the best news that I can hear. Every now and then I have people tell me, hey, Marquett, you specifically got me off of fent. You got me off of dope, cigarettes, alcohol. I'm in shape now. Those are great stories. To me, that's what goes in my bank. And so I appreciate you sharing this good news. And I hope that you continue on a clean road and you are doing something. You know, the distance that you travel, that matters. You know, not everyone starts at the same place. So for you to have a charger and be clean, that's a beautiful thing. The only thing that really matters is the measure of happiness.
You know, most of the time you're around loved ones. Most of the time you're around people who have a favorable view on you, but you don't realize it or you don't acknowledge it. When we start to experience stress, we're not seeing the world clearly. We're thinking that there's more people around us that hate us or are against us, and it's not the case. We think there's more challenges than are really there. We think the ceiling's going to cave in and everything's going bad at the same time, which is not true. Things are mostly always going well. Things are going to work out for you. Have faith, have peace, no need to have stress. You know, assume things are going to go well. Prepare for success, be willing to deal with whatever goes wrong with a smile and carry on. Folks, I just want to give you those bit of parting words because I know some of you right now might be under stress. You might be feeling challenged, and I want to let you know that life is for enjoying. Don't feel stressed at all. Feel happy. Things are going to work out. Life is good. So what I'm telling you guys is that all this stress that you take on, all this intensity and pressure that you put on yourself is not necessary. Enjoy. Take life easy. Appreciate the small things. There's no reason to ever be stressed about anything. It's all going to pass. And mostly things are going to go well.
One of the things I asked, what would I tell myself at your age, is I would say, don't be scared and everything's going to work out. You know, you feel levels of fear. Sometimes you might feel like you're alone and like you don't have support. Like, you know, Pop is way over there. He has his own issues. Mom is absentee or incompetent or broke. And you're like, man, it's just me. If I screw up, everything falls apart. Well, you know, the good news is you're not in Somalia. And if you happen to fall down, the way all the way down to the ground is not that far in America. So don't be scared. Don't worry so much. Everything's going to work out. I promise you. And a lot of the things that are challenging you now, once you get a couple of years on you, years of experience, you're like, why was I so scared? Like what's the worst that could have happened? Like, it's not that bad. So don't worry about it. We tend to worry far too much. It's just your mind being out of control, screaming. Listen, I'm telling you. And you know what? The beautiful thing about an experience like this is to get your nerves together, because whether it's on the positive side or on the negative side, you have to have your nerves together, because you're going to go through more situations in life. You know, that's why, you know, sometimes it cracks me up when people take a consultation with me. You know, a guy might be like, hey man, I'm getting divorced, or another guy might be like, hey, I'm going through a breakup. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, the good news is that you're going to go through another breakup. So this is some good, you know, get your nerves together now, because you know, this is life. All of this is about to get rewound. So enjoy, relax, don't take it too serious, have faith. It'll all be fine. In fact, I think everybody, the whites, the blacks, the Asians, I think all of us was kind of like, you know what? It was one small step for man, One huge step for mankind. I think we're all waving the flag. It was a beautiful thing. Third man also acknowledge. Moderator extraordinaire writes, the best way to show support is through the dollar. Show Marquett that he's appreciated. Peace to the saints. Also, carry on. Sir, yes, sir. In fact, I'd even go as far as to tell you guys that any guy who follows a woman in general in any form, you're not a man. Yeah, that's correct. That's how I know you guys are secret simps. Yeah, secret simp. Men don't follow women. Men do not follow women. Men do not take women's leadership. Men do, no, you're not a man. You know, there's guys, I'm like, hey, Marquett, collaborate with this podcaster. I'm like, whoa, she's like giving men advice. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, because that's not their role, actually. And I don't care whether you're an atheist or a secularist, a religious person. That's not a woman's role. If you are a religious person, specifically in the Bible, it recommends against that. So there you go. And a lot of you guys follow these female influencers. I find it to be bizarre. Like, how are you an alpha male following a woman's guidance? Like, that's so strange. She's there to spread goodness. She's there to share the truth. She's there to save someone. She's a red pill princess. This is not about me. It's not about me, even though I'm right here on camera. It's not about me, baby. That's fascinating. Well, then who is it about? Who is it about? What is it about? Like, please stop following me. Follow just her. Like, I don't want to share audience with a woman. I don't. And that doesn't mean I don't love and appreciate women. That means that I know that a good woman can be an example for other women, but a good woman is not an example or is not one who would be at the leadership position to a male. Like, that is backward. Yeah, that's all out.
Everyone appreciates a leader. The world is always waiting on a great leader, and that is precisely why I'm here to train the leadership class. Don't allow money to be your God. As you probably all know, I'm a very spiritual man, and money is definitely not everything to me. Hell, I like making money more than I like having or spending money. I enjoy the actual process of making money. That I enjoy. I like that game. It's a fun hobby to me. So be very money conscious. It's not about the product. It's not about the business. It's about the money. That's what it needs to be in your head. The truth is, and losers don't understand these things. Winners understand advantage. You have to carve it out bit by bit, and it accumulates into something called success. The reason that winners understand this is because they win. Losers don't know how to win, so they don't know what the methods of winning are. You have to accumulate small advantages bit by bit, then you add them up. That's what a man should be. A source of strength for others. You're not strong in yourself, Brody? Little buddy, you not strong in yourself? Man, you gotta man up. Gotta be better than that. A man has to have enough strength to lift himself and others. That's why we got all the strength. Lift ourselves and others. I thought that's what it was about. Like, what about the people in need? What about the people who are sick, the people who are in poverty, the people who are depressed? Saying, hey, I'm the smartest one, that does not help them. What about the orphan children? Your debate skills do not help orphans.
I think it was a Deutschmark, but whatever it was not worth anything. Sounds familiar. And then one rose up from among them, and he said, our people, we are in disrepair. People look down on us. But let me let you in on a secret. We're the greatest of people. And I will make it such that people respect us as the greatest of people. We're smarter than all the other ones. We're even better looking than them. They all want to be us. We're the most efficient people on earth. And our young men, they shall be fast like a greyhound. They'll be tough like leather. We will be one people. Ein Reich, ein Volk, ein Führer. We will be one people, one community, one empire under one leader. And I always talk to you guys about simplicity and oneness. When you don't have all of that disharmony, you can get on the same page, we can get something done here. And so the fact of the matter is, he took them out of the gutter and he rose those people up. And it can happen anywhere with the right leadership, people who are willing to do what it takes. And you see the challenges that most men are not willing to do what it takes. Most of them are talking about it, but they're not willing to take the action. So yes, it can definitely happen. Nothing is too strange to happen on the planet Earth. Because to be honest with you, when I was your age, If you would have told me that I couldn't watch a video or a movie on television without seeing a same-sex couple, I'd say, what? That's strange. Like it wouldn't even seem sensible. I'd wonder what kind of sci-fi novel you're describing.
Your Christian church has a rainbow flag in it. Your masjid is not preaching the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have a fat sheikh preaching the word. You have Muslim women who have faces full of makeup, wearing tight jeans and a hijab at the same time. You have the chosen people in Israel. The government is entirely atheist, secular. The religious Jews are protesting what's going on. Modern religion has failed. That is the summary. Modern religion has failed. Then you have the people who are such narcissists. They want to spread dawah. They want to proselytize and spread their religion. You spread your religion to the people who already claim to be that religion because they don't believe. If you are a Christian, don't try to make more Christians. Try to make the people who are Christian more Christian. If you're a Muslim, do not do dawah and try to convert new Muslims. Try to make the Muslims who say they're Muslim more Muslim.
And you know what? May Allah, may Jehovah, may Yahweh, may Jesus, may whoever protect us all from these mentally ill levels of narcissism and hubris. Like, don't you ever start thinking that you are not just a human being. Like, that is strange, bruh. With that said, I am one who loves and appreciates all of the religions, all of the races, and my work here is to bring forth the fact that all of humankind is pretty much the same, with a thin layer of culture on top, and that most of the religions are pushing you in the right direction. And I don't proselytize, I don't represent myself as a religious person, for in reality, I'm unworthy of representing any of those great faiths. And so all I promote is the ism. That's all I promote. I promote the ism. I don't promote anything else. And I will leave that with you. You see, religion is supposed to be timeless. And as a result, when people say things like conservative Muslim, there's no such thing as a conservative Muslim. All Muslims are conservative, so that's redundant. In fact, all religious persons are conservative. There's no such thing as a traditional Christian. A Christian in 1920 should be the same thing as a Christian in 2022. The problem is that they've updated the religion, they've customized the book, and they've changed the interpretations, and they like to be very selective with how they quote the Bible or how they portray Jesus as all loving, a person with no rules, who's infinitely tolerant, which is not the truth of the matter. So can we call them out? Well, I think you should. If you have any respect for your own religion, you absolutely should. You should rebuke them. And I don't want to hear people like, oh, Marquett, what about cast the first stone? You're right. Let us not call out anything that's evil, and let's just step aside, turn the other cheek, and watch the world burn down. Brilliant plan. That's the one that's currently being enacted. If you don't knock it off, this is the problem. I know bro had difficulties reading. You hear me? I know he had challenges in school. I know that when his parents went to what am I saying, right? When his grandma, not even his mom out on dope. When his grandma went to the parent-teacher conference, I know the teacher was like, Mrs. Jones, we think that it's appropriate for little Raynique. We think Raynique needs to go into special classes because, well, one, he won't put that damn eyebrow down. He keeps slobbering on the math textbook, and he just seems to be reading a lot slower than the other children. And I just think it's better for his development because when he starts reading, the other kids tend to laugh and make fun of him. The boy, whole class be holding it in. You ever had one of them slow kids like the boy went to the story. The boy went to the story. You ever had one of them slow kids in your class? Listen, if you did, funny story. You were probably slow too. It was the slow class. You ain't even know it. It's all good though. We still love you. Carrying on.
Be yourself. If you're a dirtbag and you'd like to show everyone that you're a dirtbag, be yourself. You may be learning why I stand for the principles that I do. Number one, be the hustler, not the customer. You're going to be involved with dope. Don't be the one using it. That's loser status. But more important than that, I speak against intoxicants, and we observe the kind of persons who use intoxicants, broken persons trying to self-medicate, trying to make themselves feel better, temporary solutions that don't work, false bandages. They're not really willing to do the real work. I steer you away from intoxicants because they will hurt you. And I know, I've seen it. I grew up in ghettos. I've seen this stuff play out. That's why I tell you not to engage in intoxicants. And you should wonder, why is it that people speak against Marquett Davon Burton, the guy who says exercise is prayer, 30 minutes of sweat every day, the guy who says be yourself, the guy who says don't engage in intoxicants, the guy who says be honest and honorable, the guy who says be on time, the guy who says go make a bag, the guy who says be happy for yourself and be happy for others. Why do they speak against that guy with that pure message, who not only has the message but lives the message every day? You can track it over 3 decades and he's never diverged from it. The real deal. Why do they hate that guy? Because they are demons on earth. It makes no sense to hate that guy. It would be one thing if I told you not to drink, but I was drinking. It'd be another thing if I told you to exercise, but I didn't just finish exercising rigorously. Huh? Come on now. Come on now. We're gonna get into it today. I've lived and had the burden of a king's appetite. I've devoured women by the dozens, gorgeous ones. I've seen the Golden Bridge in Vietnam, the Great Wall of China. I've had suits tailored around the world, from Beijing to Dubai to Monaco to Positano, everything that rhymes. I've seen all of the beauty of the world, beaches in Zanzibar, been in the mountains of Costa Rica, laid with the most gorgeous women in Colombia. Huh? And they weren't working girls, unlike some of you rascals. Lived in South Korea, lived in Latin America, lived throughout the United States. Seen the beauty of the south of France. Listen to me, I've seen the most curvy women you'd ever want to see, real bodies, in South Africa. And I was both in Durban and in Cape Town. And the women that you find, Zulu, Xhosa, and various other tribes, these women are built like every man would want a woman to be built. Like an Ocho, my boy, like a number 8. 40% of them have significant wagon. You hear me? And check this out. I'm talking to one of them, and I'm going to release an interview shortly. It was a pre-recorded interview I did with a South African prostitute. Nice lady. And a very powerful interview. But during our conversation, she had told me, she was like, oh yeah, and you guys have Nicki Minaj, and she has it. She just like the South African one. I was like, no, she doesn't have it like the South African woman. What do you mean?
Counterfeit.
Yeah, I was like, that's injection. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, that's a fake butt. She's like, how do you get a fake butt? I was like, I don't know exactly how they do it, but a scientist, a doctor did it. There's like an injection that's false, just like breast implants. She was like, oh, she couldn't comprehend fake butts because real butts grow organic in South Africa. Everybody got them. You're not special. Listen, when I walk through the mall, dudes don't even look back. I think they just got tired of it. They're immune to it. Man, I'm breaking my neck because it's just everywhere. So I say that to say this. They're watching our culture from a distance, not even comprehending that's a fake butt. Not even comprehending Kim Kardashian is a regular, Caucasian woman with no butt, no lips. Now, any person like Suki Hana or any random ratchet black woman can get on social media, or even Kim Kardashian, which is a fake version of a ratchet black woman, can get on social media and spread filthy, degenerate culture. Now, here's the thing we have to understand. There's more lower class people than there are higher class people, because it's a triangle. The top of the triangle is small. So if the bottom of the triangle, the lower classes, are more numerous, and social media is a form of information distribution that gives everyone access, there's going to be more content creators that express low quality ideas, more degenerate ideas, than there are people that are expressing complex, sophisticated, morally upright ideas. So in the age of social media, all of human culture is going to take a nosedive. Tell you one thing that's even funnier is that we watch other cultures from a distance and don't even fully understand what's going on. Now, all of my haters could live an additional 80 years
and still would only achieve a fraction of what I've done in real life. I'm a very thankful, happy man filled with gratitude. I've outperformed the great majority of humankind. And when you consider what I actually come from, the true mud and dirt that I've come from, I've exceeded any reasonable expectation anyone could have ever had. If you look at someone like me and you don't look at me and take pride in me, something's wrong with you. When I look at other people succeeding, it makes me feel happier. Why? Because there's not an ounce of jealousy, because I've delivered on my own potential. It's those who have not delivered on their own potential that hear you talk and fly and they feel more on the ground, huh? It's those who look at you when you feel strong and your chest is poked out and you're walking tall, and then they start to feel small because they didn't deliver on their own potential. I'm proud of each and every one of you when I see you succeed. I love to hear you guys talk fly, huh? It's encouraging. Anyways, I say all that to say, no, I appreciate you, but man, I've lived the life of 10 men, 10 privileged men. That's how good my adult life has been, huh? And it was all by choice. Anyways, carrying on.
Everything that you see and hear within my message, it's been very organic, and some of it I had to think out, and other parts of it was just sent to me. I remember when I came up with the 3-sentence Bible, because I wanted something that was extraordinarily simple, that people could remember very well, and it's easy to transmit, that is to communicate. And the structure of it: be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. It's so simple, so clear. And if you can remember and execute on it, it will protect you so much and lead you to prosperity and happiness. And I'd asked for that, and I woke up one morning. I remember it like it was yesterday. I woke up one morning, it was right there on my mind, and I wrote it down straight away, and we've been living by it ever since. But the SASN, the Saint and the Sinner Nation, that came from obviously my moniker, the Saint and the Sinner, and the Saint and the Sinner comes from the reality that your boy is not Jesus. You hear me? I'm not Jesus. I'm not the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These are men, like the Prophet Muhammad is referred to as the best of creation. Jesus is the guy who died for all your sins. These are pure men. I'm different. I understand the good side of life and also the wicked side of life. Yes, I've experienced both. And based on that experience, when you ask me for advice, I can speak to, the wholeness of the human experience. Like if a young man tells me, Marquett, I'm struggling, I'm very lustful, and, what do you recommend? I'm trying to hold off till marriage. I say, bruh, let's be realistic here. Let's acknowledge what you are as a human being. Let's figure out what your goals are. Let's make some real decisions. We know pornography is out. That's evil. We know that being a fornicator and having sex indiscriminately is out. That's evil. But do you want to be sexually repressed and end up doing weird stuff? How far away are you from marriage? How healthy is it for you to be tied up like that? Can you find a way to express your sexual desire in a healthy fashion with a woman who is on the same path as you? Let's find a solution. Whereas if you were to talk to a religious person, your imam, your sheikh, your preacher, your rabbi, they might say, just hold off till marriage. Well, sometimes that's not going to work, and it's not realistic. And so that's what I try to do, is give you a middle ground that is a straight path. He writes, I love what you're doing, and we'll be purchasing the Master Communicator course. Well, I look forward to seeing you in that course. May I acknowledge Showtime writes, I just purchased the Master. There you go. This gentleman already did it. So I just purchased the Master Communicator course. One of the things that drew me to you is your speech. Looking forward to the work. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That means a lot. And much respect to those men who invest in themselves. So I look forward to seeing you in this course. You're definitely going to enjoy it and love it. It's going to drop some gems on you, things you never thought about. And when you get this information and you execute out in this world, you're going to start seeing this guy, that guy's sharp. That guy knows what's up. And, you're going to be able to see the differences between great men and good men, between extraordinary men and ordinary men. So I look forward to having that experience with you and all of those who have purchased the course. Anyways, may I also acknowledge Reagan, who just became a member at thesasn.com. We welcome you to this thing of ours. Shout out to Tayshawn writes, How and when did you come up with the SASN brand/group? I love what you're doing for men and women alike, and I will be purchasing the Master Communicator course. Peace to the Saints.
Whatever your sum of money is from your working hours each month, and you're not like, okay, I should allocate this percentage to housing, this percentage to discretionary, going out, seeing the movies, going on dates, this percentage to these things, this percentage to future, investments, things like that. If you don't have a sense of that, you need to buy that. It's on personal finance. Your mom didn't teach you, your dad didn't teach you, and your school didn't have a personal finance course, even though every school should.
And drop my IG so that they got some more to hate on, because it's my job. You heard me? I tell all of you guys, it's important that you do your job as a winner so that they can do their job as a loser. It's necessary for you to win so they can lose. They need somebody to lose to.
It is one of the most challenging things, especially given the nature of today's society, wherein you have so many broken humans who are mentally unwell. And the thing that they typically do is they'll spread their brokenness, they'll spread their foolish thinking, they'll spread their negativity to you. And the greatest challenge is that you have to keep them at bay, keep them away from you. Some of them you might be in a romantic relationship with. Some of these broken human beings might be in your family. Others might be reaching out to you. And as my status improves and as my clout grows, I would like to point out some things that are on the path to greater success so that you all can anticipate and be successful. The truth is, in terms of true status and true power and money and earnings, I don't think the social media game is as good as the tech game. You heard me? However, when you're a successful tech entrepreneur, you might be making more money, but you're not getting as much clout and reputation. You're not exposed to as many people. You can go places quietly and people don't know who you are, which I actually find to be quite nice as an introvert. As I'm now getting more clout and notoriety, I'm exposed to more persons. The thing that's really fortunate for myself and others when I was in the tech space is that the people I'm exposed to are generally of higher IQ, better family background, higher income. So I'm exposed to people who are more worthwhile. In the social media space, I'm exposed to the general public, most of whom are underachievers, dimwits, and they want something from you. And I want to give a few notes on how to deal with this, but also a couple notes on success in pursuing it and also dealing with challenges. The first piece, in terms of where I'm positioned now, is that you're in a position where you're attractive, and everyone's goal should be to be attractive. Attractiveness is great. Women come to you, guys want to be you, guys want to do deals with you. People think you have something that they want. Being attractive is a good thing, especially if you can attract the people you want. However, sometimes you become universally attractive and people come to you to get something from you. I've mentioned before that there are really two sides to consider. There is the offer and there is the request. Is someone coming to you with an offer, or are they coming to you with a request? Are they offering you something that will enhance you, make you wealthier, make you happier, bring more beautiful women around you? Are they giving you an offer, something that will benefit you, potentially them as well, but definitely benefit you? That's an offer. Then there are those who come to you with a request. They need something from you. They're broke. They want some money. They want a loan. They want to collaborate. And the funny thing is, when they want to collaborate on something that benefits them, but not you. Most people are going to come to you with a request. And the worst part about it is that these are the people that you absolutely should not work with under any circumstance. These are the people you should be suspicious of, scared of. These are the people who will hurt you, essentially. And the worst trait about these persons is that they don't have any concept of empathy, meaning they haven't considered, well, how does this benefit the other person? They don't have any concept of reciprocity, meaning, can we win together? They're just thinking about how they can win. They don't have any concept of true friendship. They're not coming to you to build a relationship that'll endure. They're coming to you trying to get a quick win, trying to get a come up off of you. And they don't have real intelligence, because intelligence would tell them if this person's successful, they're clearly smart enough to know that what I'm pitching to them isn't going to help them out. It's just going to help me out. So these are all folks you want to keep at bay. I want to tell a true story.
People lied when they say Gandhi was nonviolent. Gandhi was nonviolent Was he really? When you got 1 billion Indians following you, 1 billion with a B, and the white colonizer is the minority, and all these people are following you, and you say, hey, we're going to do a march with 800,000 people. It's a peaceful march. Do you think the people you're marching against aren't looking at 800 as like, shit, that could become a violent march real quick? So what he did was he showed them, like, look, I ain't gotta do nothing violent. I got 800,000 niggas behind me. You know what that means. You's a damn fool lying, say that nigga was nonviolent. Then you got an idiot like Martin Luther King who try to pull some Gandhi shit. You's a minority in America. Black people are 12% of the population. The Indians were 99.9% of the population in India. It's different. You don't understand.
You cooking right now. You cooking right now.
Man, people be bullshit, man, and that's what annoys me. And it's like they try to exaggerate things. And most of these people don't have any intellectual pedigree, and I'm not talking about from schooling. I'm just talking about like these motherfuckers is brainless.
You think the American dollar is everything. Hell, you might think the British pound is something. Let me drop a few gems on you. Do you know the strongest currencies in the world are concentrated here in the Middle East? We're talking about the Omani Real. We're talking about the dinar. Yeah, these currencies are stronger than the dollar. So I have to stop doing the segments where I'm really kicking game because people don't support it and people don't understand. So I got to start talking about basic stuff like Cat Williams and football and celebrity gossip. I need to stick to the celebrity gossip because it's like, 100 people hear what I'm saying, but only a few really feel me. You dig? Yeah. That's why I don't come on here that often, because sometimes I can't bear to deal with the stupidity. So I can't bear to deal with it sometimes.
These low IQ individuals, they're dangerous. It's evil to be that stupid.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just the fact that people who are low income and low IQ breed in great numbers, and I'm seeing the results of it as I live in the society today, and so many people are brainless. I mean, how do you think it makes sense that in America we are stopping our kids from going to public schools in New York so that we can use those same schools to house folks who are coming into our country illegally, thereby making us less safe? I mean, this is the result of people who are not very intelligent making decisions. And the problem is when you have a populace that's unintelligent, we're experiencing not democracy, but idiocracy. You always have the big mouths, the loud people. They're the ones that have so much to say, but there's so little value here. So though they have so much to express, they don't have anything of merit to express. That's problematic. So the reason I have to take out the time every now and then to address these situations is because we have to reorder the world and we have to introduce people to reality. We claim that females are delusional, but it's the males that are often delusional as well. And, female being delusional is fine, actually. During the Book of Dark Truths, I'm going to talk about why it's actually okay for a female to be delusional. And it's not at all okay for you and I to be delusional, because we will suffer greatly if we are delusional. Trust me, a woman can think that she has high value while being broke, and then meet a boss that will elevate her, and then thereby making her delusion reality. A broke man will never be elevated by anyone else. Other men will not respect you, and women will rebuff you and rebuke you. So you can't be delusional. One thing that we teach during the men's trip that we had is that you're not special. None of us are special. We're within a special organization. And for a lot of these nerds nowadays, they didn't grow up playing sports, so they don't know what it means to be on a team. They don't know what it means to be a part of something. They didn't play sports. They've not been a part of a corporation. Yeah, they've been a peon working at 7-Eleven, but you're not really on a team. You're just a cashier. But they've not been in a corporation. They've not been on a team. So they don't understand the concept of how to play with the team and how to win with the team. They're psychotic and narcissistic because they grew up playing video games by themselves in a dark room, saying all variety of foul things to their online friends. And so they don't develop social skills or real thinking. That's the challenge. Anyways, let us carry on. Most people are really not ambitious about really making wealth. I can't tell you how often I hear people say they're going to make money, but I know they're lying. And it's not because they don't have the brains, it's because they don't have the willpower. They don't actually want to make money. They're just saying that because in our society, we've been programmed to say that you want to be a millionaire. We've been programmed to say that you want to be financially independent. Most people are comfortable where they're at. That's a fact. And most women, especially who say that they want to earn well, they really don't. What they're operating from is a base of fear. And when I say a base of fear, this is the precise reason that people continue trying to endlessly accumulate money because they think money gives security, which it absolutely does not. Anyone who's made millions of dollars has probably also lost millions of dollars. You've gotten on the horse, you've fallen off of the horse as well. So we realize that there's no security with money, and that's why we keep the money active. We keep the capital active. We keep the money machine spinning, because if the money machines are not spinning, then things are going to dry up for you.
It does not make sense that you get taxed on your income. Then you go spend $1. You get taxed on the purchase? Word, you already taxed me. They're stealing from you. Is it to give you basic services? Hell nah. You can't even get health care. But they can always fund a new war. They can always pay for bombs in Ukraine. They can already support Israel. And here's another crazy thing you should wonder about. How in the hell, when that earthquake occurred in Japan, Biden's like, we're going to be there to help. With what money, Brody? With what money? Why? We're not Japanese. We're Americans. What are you talking about? When have the Japanese come in to help us? What are we doing here? And this is nonsense. This is the sick-minded, controlling people in our society trying to exercise power and influence around the world. They want to feel like God. Huh?
As a man, yes, I'm talking to men right now. I'm not talking to children. I'm not talking to women, because neither of them stand for anything. As a man, if you stand for something, you better stand up. It's time. And I will repeat and repeat again. If you don't start fighting, you will start suffering. What do I mean? You think if you are a heterosexual man and you continue to allow this filth to spread, you don't think this filth is going to come out and attack you? You don't think it's going to try to marginalize you? You don't think it's going to try to overtake your kids and even overtake your woman? You don't think so? Oh, you be a fool. You be a fool. This is the real pandemic that we're dealing with. We are not in a time of tolerance. It is time to become intolerant. Yes, it's a time to become intolerant. Intelligently so. Truth will set us free. Hell nah, the truth won't set nobody free. Action will set us free. The truth actually has no value. You need to go to the Book of Dark Truth Summit. The truth has no damn value. Are you kidding me? A female can tell you she's a man. Brittany Griner. A male can tell you he's a woman. Caitlyn Jenner. What value does the truth have in these dark times? You need to go to the Book of Dark. You don't understand the world. You need to go to the Book of Dark Truth Summit. That's why I'm happy that I'm doing it. I feel like I'm doing a great good. You crack open your Bible, you crack open your Quran, and still you read it cover to cover and don't even understand the world any better. It's the truth, especially in terms of the Bible, because it's written in metaphor and allegory. And some versions are missing books.
The man, I said the man is blessed with the seed. The brother man has the seed, which is life. The seed, which is life, God-given. And then he plants that into the woman, which the woman is the vessel that carries the life. She grows the life. But you need to understand, my brothers, that the life starts with the man. The life begins with the man. So inasmuch as that is the case, it is like the man is the one that said, let there be life. You heard of let there be light, but let there be life. For it starts with the man. So how, my brothers, could the woman be the queen? Could the woman be the god or goddess if the life does not start with her, lest she is implanted with the seed? My brothers, let you all say amen. Let the church say amen if you understand what I'm talking about. Hallelujah.
Pish posh, TikTok, snuggle, snuggle, drizzle, drizzle. Get rid of them broke bitches.
If I was really a super Christian, I'd just be walking around snatching cross chains off like I'm a black in the ghetto. You feel me? I wouldn't even run after I did it. I would just snatch it off, throw it on the ground, and spit on it. It's like, shorty, you're an abomination to an abomination. Yes, the cross, this idolatry, this, what do you call it? Yeah, it's an idol, right? These symbols that don't necessarily connect with God. These symbols that were created, like, we're not going to get into theology, but the point is, you're making a mockery of the religion. You're wearing a cross necklace. You've clearly fornicated well before marriage. Many times. You're unrepentant. You're talking about it in the public space, and you're wearing a symbol that is supposed to represent God and Christianity. What I do is I challenge Christians. I heard somebody say Marquett is anti-religion. I'm pro-religion. I love religion. I think religion is a very healthy thing in a society. I am pro-Christianity. I'm pro-Jehovah's Witness. I'm pro-Mormon. I'm pro-Mennonite. I'm pro-Joanger. I'm pro-76ers. I'm pro-Amish. I'm pro-Muslim. I'm pro-Jewish, Orthodox, Hasidic. You see, I know more about religion than most people. I've lived among religious peoples. I've studied among real scholars. If you check my Instagram, and somebody dropped my IG, I actually removed some of the photos, but you'll see me there with very well-known scholars. And I love religion, but I hate and despise fake religion when people take on religion as though it's a costume. Religion is not a costume. You do not put on a hijab and become a Muslim woman. You do not put on a thobe and become a Muslim man. You do not put on a yarmulke and become a Jewish man. It is not a costume. You do not put on a cross and become protected and covered in the blood of Christ. It is not a costume. And honestly, real Christians, which there aren't any really, they should be ripping these things off these people's necks violently. Carrying on. Your time on earth is valuable enough not to waste it, and your happiness is precious enough to prioritize it. People like to say the heart, but the emotions, everything's in the brain, right? Like, you select, you're rational, you make decisions.
I'm the only one that actually stands up against this stuff. Yeah, I'm the only one that doesn't condone it at any level. I don't care who you're thinking of right now. I don't care who you're thinking of. You might be thinking of someone like, oh yeah, so-and-so's an alpha male and he's masculine. Does he invite homosexuals onto his platform? Does he treat them with respect? Does he try to make money with them? Then no, he's not like me. And he's condoning evil. And in fact, promoting evil. So I'm the only one.
We just have to be real with the reality of human beings that we're dealing with. I'm not talking to you about how the world should be. I'm talking about how the world is.
I am the conscience of the internet. You would think that the major monotheistic religions would do something to curb the decline of society. Maybe Christianity would stop it, but instead Christians fly the rainbow flag within their churches and have female pastors and speak of inclusivity at any cost. You would think the Muslims, Ramadan Kareem, to all the Muslims. You would think the Muslims would stop it, but they're busy fighting one another and blowing each other up, while the Islamic leadership, the so-called princes and sheikhs in Saudi and United Arab Emirates, you know, they sit in the lap of luxury in Dubai, and they allow their Muslim brothers in the Ummah to suffer in Gaza. You would think maybe the Jewish people would do something, the chosen people, yet they sit back and count the dollars from their efforts as international financiers and banksters, those who control the media and actually spread the poison as opposed to stopping it. People speak of God, but who really believes? People speak of morality, but who actually lives it out? We saw recently, and we see this every day, people falling to money. There are many among you who walk among you quietly, wearing masks, concealing their true nature and intentions. Are you fooled by them? This is what demons and snakes often do. They lie. They disguise. All of the wickedness that you suffer usually is based on lies and deception. If you have a female and she betrays you and sleeps with another man, that's dishonesty, lying. You have a gold digger who wants to separate you from your money. That's dishonesty, lying, pretending to care about you when she really only cares for your money. Lying and dishonesty is the chief tool of the wicked. My sadness is when everyday folks are not smart enough to be able to see the deception.
We talking about the stuff the others can't talk about. They don't have the brains and experience for it.
You're lost. You're lost. You are speaking a lie. Knowingly. Or maybe it's unknowingly. Maybe you've been tricked. Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to trick you. You see, the goal is to redefine. Change the definition of words. It is as ludicrous as me saying, okay, this black velvet shirt, let us also call this black velvet shirt, we're also going to call it blue denim. Marquett, that's not blue denim. Marquett, that's not blue denim. No. Shh. This is black velvet. It's also blue denim. Shh. That's what's going on. Marquett, that's not a woman. That's a male dressed as a woman. That's not a woman. No, it is a woman. It's a trans woman. Trans woman. Marquett, that's a he. No, it's a she. You're being tricked. The words are being redefined. The words are being redefined. Marriage, this is a word we've always understood. It was defined in religious circles. Marriage between one male, one female. Instead of giving civil unions to those of the same sex who want to engage in same-sex unions, instead of giving them civil unions, which is to acknowledge it's something different, no, they just changed the definition of marriage. Increasingly, we will see things redefined, which means that we will see lies propagated as truth. The question is, do you accept it? When a woman talks to me and she says, oh yeah, no, I'm single, I don't have a partner. I said, partner? What do you mean by that? Then she starts babbling. Then I ask her, do you know where that term comes from? Partner? Oh no, that's just what people say now. Why? Because they're trying to remove gender. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. They're trying to remove gender to make that which is abnormal appear normal. So I tell her, I say, this terminology comes from the discourse and the propaganda efforts of the Skittle guzzlers. Do you guzzle Skittles, dear? No, I don't. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm heterosexual. Act like it. Talk like it. You're heterosexual. Act like it and talk like it. And it is our responsibility as a man to enforce that. It is our responsibility as men to enforce that. You're in for a long one today, fellas. But as they say, if you can take it up the backside, you can take a joke. And these are just jokes. These are just jokes. But you's a soft nigga, B. You's a soft nigga.
What is
all there is.
I was literally, may I speak?
And thank you to the real men who stand up. Yeah, if you don't ever stand up, you don't ever make your name known, it's not manly. If you're not a builder in the society, it's not manly. If you don't hold the line in terms of principles and integrity, you're not manly. If you don't keep militants, you're not manly.
Can you consider yourself a man if you're scared of failure? It's almost comical to me. You think you should have a woman, but you're scared to approach a woman.
And it's even more comical in as much as the female is the weaker of the two genders, so you're scared to approach your weaker counterpart that's smaller than you. I mean, how could she ever have faith that you could be a great leader or protector when you're scared of her? So that's why so much of my work is to prepare men for life, which is much bigger than a woman.
And that's an important thing for you guys to think through, is like, what are the ramifications of the things I do thoughtlessly? As a man, you cannot be thoughtless.
That's where he goes, to the hospital. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix my sound effects. They're not labeled, if you're wondering. So remember that sometimes people grow to look at you in a particular way, and there's nothing you can do to change it, even if it's not accurate.
I get it. And that's why we're here to bring in education. Boss University. And Boss University takes you to the inner world. What's inside of you? Who are you? What's great about you? How do you manage the self? How do you make sure that you have energy in this marathon called life? How do you control your psychology? How do you self-improve? Boss University is about you making yourself a boss, so that you might be worthy of ruling over others or leading others. It teaches you about entrepreneurship. It teaches you about a lot of things. The Book of Dark Truths is about the outside world. Why did that guy say that? Why did that bad thing happen, but nobody wanted to help afterward? Or why did that bad thing happen and then everybody wanted to help afterward? Why is so-and-so not being honest? Is there ever a time in which I should not be honest? If I were in the curious position of not being honest, how do I do that effectively? Is there ever a time to thug your way through? Book of Dark Truths helps you understand the real world out there. The real world. The Book of Dark Truths is a practical guide to understanding and navigating in the real world. I'll even give you some more game that's covered in the Book of Dark Truths. Well, how do you collaborate with a woman that you're dating? How do you get volunteer labor for your company? Labor you don't have to pay for. How do things evolve over time with regards to your woman and your business, or your woman and your money? What precautions do you take when you move in with a woman? I go through practical, do this, don't do this, don't do this. I got a decision matrix on, if you got to make a tough decision, how do I decide which might be the right path? And we explain it and go through it. So it's quite involved.
And truth be told, when I tell you, like, look, there's the saints, the real ones, the vetted, verified members. There's the believers. They know, they have knowledge of what is good, and they would like to strive to it, but they don't consistently meet the mark. And then there are the wicked, which is the majority, actually. That's the majority. So I know I'm going into this world where the wicked is the majority, and I'm paying attention. And if you read the book, my book, The Black Box, there's a chapter called Swing First. Read that chapter again. That'll let you know how I deal in this world. Guys, thank you for all you do, Mr. Burton. I appreciate it. Thank you. So trip on this. Oh, this is about to blow your mind, and it's about to make some people mad at the same time. Dig it. It is easier for a rich person to believe that you are also rich. Let me know you heard that. It's easier for a poor person to believe that you are also poor. Somebody explain how that works. Tell me how that works right there. Yeah, if you are around a rich person and you seem to be on the same financial level, they're going to take you for being on that same financial level. You don't have to prove it. They're not going to question it. They're going to believe it. You don't even have to say it. They're going to assume it. Conversely, if you're around a poor person and you seem to be well off, or you might say something that would indicate that you're well off, they think you're faking and fronting. They don't believe it. Why is that? Why is that? Why can't they believe? Well, they can't believe because that reality is so far away for them. For them, that reality is far away. And because it's far away for them, then they just can't see it for you because it's so foreign. Just like with me, when I meet a bunch of chicks, and it's crazy too, and it's ironic how life works. I don't want to mention the law of attraction because a lot of people misinterpret and misunderstand this stuff, right? They mention energy, but they don't understand energy, and they ain't even got no energy. You hear me? How about that? But I tell you, actually make it. God damn it, we ain't got time to be fake. What are you, a breast implant? You want to look real on the outside, fake on the inside? Hell nah, we need to be that genuine article, you dig? That all jelly booty with the stretch marks on it, you dig? Yes, indeed. Might be imperfect, but it's still lovely. It's, only the wisest among you will heed this anyway, so I guess it's not like I'm letting out a big secret, but I want to advise you all to get your hands on some land. I've been to so many countries trying to do land deals, and it's nearly impossible for a variety of reasons. I'm extremely suspicious. Number one, let me describe to you, and you've observed this over time. You may have even heard this mentioned in your courses in university and perhaps high school if you went to a proper high school, and most of you didn't if you're in the United States. But the trend has been toward human beings organizing into societies, emptying out suburbs where you can have a proper single-family detached home, going into the cities where it's overcrowded, you're stacked on top of each other, the buildings crowd the sky and block out the sun and the reminder of that which is divine and natural. And what's worse is they try to convince you that that's the best way to live. This is, again, marketing, and this leans on the frailty and weakness and human nature and psychology. So, for example, there's so many lies going on. These things are comical to me because I can clearly see the truth.
Come on, man. I see through this like glass. This is glass to me. It's so easy. Anyways, ladies and saints,
one thing I just want you all to be aware of is that the monetary system and the political system is largely designed to keep peace so that markets can operate and, people can enjoy a basic standard of living, and the wealthy and the leadership class can enjoy a very high standard of living, which requires peace in the empire, not outside the empire. Outside of the empire, there's war, right? Because you have to bring back the booty from war, the loot from war, the fruit of war. But within the empire, you have to have peace and prosperity so that the wealthy can enjoy their wealth and their perks. And then what you do is you make entire countries and entire peoples into vassal states and slave labor, essentially using the wage system in the most effective of ways. So the wage system is far more effective than slavery, because here's the funny thing about slavery. When you make someone a slave, they're against it. Psychologically, they know that they're down bad. They don't want to be a slave. But when you make someone a wage slave, they are bought into the system and they believe that they can earn more money. They believe they can get another degree and get a better situation. Now, for some of them, it is true. And honestly, if you live in much of the world, you can get into a better situation. But depending on how far down you start, you have to be so disciplined that it's unlikely that you're going to win, right? Like the level of discipline, focus and cleverness that's required is just improbable that you're going to win. So, we're in a funny situation. If you, for example, live in America and you're in the lower class in America, man, you can kiss your quality of life goodbye. I'll tell you why. Like I was just in Philippines. There's a young lady I was talking to, not very bright, but very narcissistic. And she was telling me, good looking girl, and she was telling me that she's like, you know what, Marquett, I just wish I could go to America. That's my goal. I'm going to get into America because it's easier to earn money there and be successful. And when she told me this, I was like, that is true. It is easier to earn money. I was like, but honey, if you're stupid in the Philippines, you're still stupid in America. You're going to be broke. Like maybe being broke in America is nicer than being broke in Philippines. I agree. Like I pray if I got to be broke in one of these countries, let me be broke in America. Like, maybe. But you're still going to be broke because you don't have any work ethic. You don't have any significant education. You don't have any level of ambition, and you don't know how to recognize an opportunity if it slapped you in your face. So why do you think you can make it in America where there's people who are more educated, more ambitious, and they're from America and they still ain't made it? Immigrants usually do outperform Americans. That is true. But in her case, she's never going to make it to America, right? Now, here's the other thing. When you're talking about America and the monetary or the quality of life, it's about to decline because you're having an influx of low wage earners, right? Illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, some call them, right? Primarily coming in from Latin America. And once they come in, they're driving down real wages. And not only are they driving down the wages because they're competing for unskilled jobs, they're also putting a weight on the various welfare systems, whether it's the healthcare system or EBT or what have you, or housing pressure, which is going to cause housing prices to go up higher because there's more demand for housing. We already see this happening in New York, right? We saw a situation where I forget what they call it, the euphemistic term, but like not asylum city, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So New York basically has overpopulated their refuge, their shelters for the illegals, and now they're in a situation where they're closing down public schools. Yes, they closed down a public high school, told the kids to learn remotely, which basically means don't learn at all, right? I mean, who's learning remotely? No one. I know this as an expert in online learning. Yes, this is something I'm an expert in. Side note, I'm also an expert in university matriculation and retention rates. Yeah, I'm an expert in that, literally. Yeah, online education has a much higher fail rate than in-person education. Go figure. That's at the university level. At the high school level, of course, it's even harder for youngsters to learn remotely. They have, whatever. Point is this. If you're in high school, if you're in a certain high school in New York, you were told to learn remotely because they need to use your high school to house illegal aliens, right? So you're already seeing how your quality of life is declining, particularly if you're a low-income person. You know, low income, you're going to suffer first, and eventually the American middle class is going to suffer. The American upper class is always going to be insulated, right? Like, you don't even know where these people live. You hear me? You don't know where they vacation. You don't know where they live. You don't know what restaurants they eat at. Their life is exclusive and remote from yours. You dig? Like, so they're not going to be impacted by this. And that's why people like AOC, who are multimillionaires, they're fine, degrading the quality of the country. And I don't say this as a person who's anti-immigrant or anti any particular racial or ethnic group. I say this as a person who's traveled around the world and I understand. I just am a person who understands what's going on. So for example, I've been to Mexico many times. Shout out to Mexico. And I have a lot of fans in Mexico. The Mexicans, and it's not Mexicans really that are coming through, it's everybody from Latin America. You hear me? They're going through Mexico. And Mexico letting them go through, like, bro, like, go ahead. Andale, mami, ia, uh-oh, what's popping tonight? If you got money, Mexico's great. There are parts of Mexico that you go into, and if everything wasn't written in Spanish, you think you're in a nice neighborhood in America, right? Mexico's phenomenal if you have money. People are under the idea that they get to America, that they're just going to get a free ride in a fancy car. And at some level, it's true, but eventually there ain't going to be enough free rides and fancy cars to pass out. And then what happens is that the developed world underdevelops itself. So America becomes like the place that these people were fleeing. That's what will happen. And I know that is what will happen. And there's no level of assimilation going on. There's a reason that certain countries are underdeveloped. And, I used to, when I was an uninformed youth, I used to think it was racism or, white supremacy, but it's not. There are certain cultures that are less than. For example, I was in one particular country and there's a beautiful resort, like A1 resort, like you got to have some money to be here, right? So I'm in this gorgeous resort in a particular country, and there were a lot of signs around that said no spitting. No spitting? What are you talking about? Who's walking around spitting? Well, there is a culture of people where spitting is not frowned upon. Even if you're spitting indoors, spitting into trash cans is not frowned upon in a certain culture. I'm not going to say what it is. Some of you might know if you're sophisticated, well-traveled, or if you're in that culture, you might know what I'm talking about. In America, you never have to put up a sign anywhere inside of a resort, indoors, at a high-end resort that says no spitting. But at this particular resort, you have to put up a sign that says no spitting because there's a certain ethnic group of people that are going to spit, which is disgusting. And they don't think it's disgusting because it's their culture. Now, some cultures are less than other cultures. For example, I find Westerners filthy in as much as they walk inside the house with their shoes on. That's filthy. Each culture has certain features that are fairly despicable. No culture is like across the board superior. I've observed this, but certainly in the ways of capitalism, being civil, and things like that, there's some cultures and countries that have an advantage. And if you bring in a high number of persons from a different culture, a lower culture, then they're going to underdevelop your culture. America, for some time now, has not been forcing assimilation, which is to say, if you want to be in America, figure out what that means. Like, learn what it is to be an American.
How stupid are people? Very, actually. Let me answer that myself. Very not smart. Very, extremely not smart. Somebody riddle me that. It makes a grand total of 0 cents.
It's about what are we going to do as a man? You know, where will our sources of joy be? How will we provide for our families? How will we protect our families? Protecting our families and our interests is not just about us as individuals. It's about who do we have around us as men? What is our financial structure in terms of our personal spending, our knowledge of personal financial literacy, our nature of work? How does it impact our happiness?
And so that's all it is. And we know that drinking is a terrible thing. In fact, in the United States of America, they once had prohibition. We had some morals. We wanted to outlaw drinking entirely because it is a detriment to society and, of course, to the individual.
You always have to go forward like a fearless lunatic. Enjoy yourself. Time in life is very precious. So don't worry too much, gentlemen. One of the most important pieces of advice I would give myself, and this is why I wrote my book, The Black Box. The Black Box is a story of a young man trying to make it through life, experiencing challenges and learning lessons and, going through self-doubt. And self-doubt is basically fear, and fear should not be your God. It will devour you. And if I could give myself any bit of advice as a younger man, I would say, don't be scared. Everything's going to work out perfectly. Don't be scared. Everything's going to work out perfectly. And you know what? That's true. And so I encourage every last one of you to go forward like a fearless lunatic, no matter what it is and what you want. Do it faster, do it sooner, do it harder. And know that you don't have forever to be sexy. You don't have forever to be strong and young. And so while you do have all of those things at your disposal, you should utilize it. When I see people who are, 35 or younger, or even 40 or younger, and they're overweight, it saddens me, because there will come a point to where you're not a factor in terms of being sexually appealing or strong. You see, if I'm walking down the street and a man bumps into me and he turns around, it crosses his mind that I can hurt him. There will come a time when I will be too old and feeble to where if a man bumped into me, I would just have to rely on his mercy. So while I have the opportunity to be strong, I'm going to be strong. And while I have the opportunity to be beautiful and sexy, I'm going to be beautiful and sexy. And I encourage all of you to do the same, which is to say, manage your hygiene, manage your fitness. Take these things seriously, because there will come a time to where, as a male, your testosterone levels will decline, and you could lift weights, but the muscle will not develop. So do not waste your prime while you have your prime. Do not waste time being fearful. Do not be scared. Do not allow fear to be your God. Okay?
And the thing that saddens me truly for all of the persons who go under the surgeon's knife to try to perfect that which God has already created, my sadness is that they're going to consistently go under that knife, and it'll be endless, always trying to perfect, fix, tighten. And you have to respect that human beings age. We will not be tomorrow the way we were today. And let us use our youth and our strength and our vitality while we have it, but let us also respect wisdom and respect age and respect the years as they go, instead of trying to be immortal.
And that's the key. It's not all these externalities and these material things. These are things that you use to fill up your inside, because your inside is empty. When you really build up your inside with knowledge, with love, with peace, with spirituality, you don't need any of the bullshit. And the best thing is, if the bullshit, the money, the cars, the women, if all that disappears, you still the big homie. I'm a boss even if I don't run a company. You dig? I got a CEO mindset. Even if I lost all my companies today, I'm still thinking like a boss. I'm still living like a boss. And that's what I'm telling you guys, is to stay focused on that shit. This is a mental game. And that's why a homeless man, if he had the game,
which is priceless. If a homeless man all of a sudden could take my brain and put it in his head, he wouldn't be homeless for more than a night.
One thing I want to, while I have your attention, that I want to share with you all is I'm often reflecting on happiness, right? How do you maintain happiness? How do you grow happiness? And I often am able to observe the way we take ourselves away from happiness. And there's certain common emotions that we get, but we don't think enough on it. Like, for example, anxiety. You feel anxious or maybe worried or tense. Where did the feeling come from? This morning, I was thinking on anxiety, and I was trying to remember the first time I ever felt anxious or like worrisome or like I was like anticipating something too much.
The good news about losing money versus losing other things like losing a loved one, losing your health, losing a limb, money is infinite. That's the good news. The challenge, though, is we don't have control of our mind. And so our mind runs away with us like, I'll never be rich again. I'll never be that successful again. And you will, actually, if you stay intense, you buckle down and you get focused. And the most important thing you have to remember, and this is something about being a hustler, and that's why I love having grown up around real hustlers, the kind of guys who say things like, if they still printing money, I could still make some money. You hear me? The kind of guys that say, look, if you don't run out of game, you don't run out of money. And so they keep these phrases working in your head and working on your psychology so that money is infinite. And here's another thing. I got a track, and when you listen to my music, check out the Saint the Sinner on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere that you stream music, you hear real stories. You feel me? Like there's no exaggeration in there. I had a track where I said, I lost 900,000, money come and go. The opposite of my bottom hoe. She never tell me no. If she did, she would have to go. I'm snowman cold and listen, point is this. I lost 900,000, money come and go, which is a fact. You make money, you lose money. That's what it is. And why does that not bother me to lose $900,000, just shy of losing $1 million? Why does that not bother me? Because there are some people who make $1 million a day. So losing 900,000 ain't nothing. And I've met these people, mind you. When you live in a city like Las Vegas and you got good connections, you get to meet these people. We're in a city that's cash liquid, and we have tons of people, celebrities and stars, that fly in all the time to gamble ridiculous sums of money. And I got good connections. I mean, you guys know how I'm really living. There's one resort that I stay at. Last time I was there, I was staying next to Neo, and he was on his honeymoon. I actually had a better suite than him in a real way. So the point is this. I see these people all the time, and shout out to who's a little Hawaiian looking kid, for Bruno Mars. I went to his concert; it was terrible. But shout out to Bruno Mars, because Bruno Mars is always in Vegas, and man, that ball owes so much money to MGM. It's crazy. I wouldn't speak on it except that it's now public news. It's been public news for a couple months. But the point is, should I worry about losing 900,000 when there's people who make $1 million a day? And then my question is, how can I be one of those people who make $1 million a day? How much money did Jeff Bezos make an hour? 900,000. That's nonsense. If I did it once, I can do it again. But anyways, happy people don't focus on tearing down other people. So surely those who would issue a negative word in your direction are unhappy or envious or bored, something that's not good, right? Now, should you feel superior to them? Well, in all likelihood, if you're happier, you are superior to them. But it's important to know that if you find yourself among those who are inferior and you're finding yourself among them for a prolonged amount of time, then you could be overrating yourself. My challenge to you and everyone, and to myself, is that if you ever find yourself among your inferiors, you should get out of there like it's a burning building. Because trust me, they will only start to attack you because their inferiority will drive them toward jealousy. So it is for your own safety that you get away from them, and it is to set things right that you get away from them and you get among birds of your feather.
And the truth is, much of what we will have in life will come from the works that we've done in our early 20s. So I'd encourage you to really be strategic in asking, well, what's my next step after this, after I graduate? And to have a good next step going into a strong job or going into a meaningful entrepreneurial venture, you should be doing internships at high-ranking companies right now. I think a lot of people don't do college the right way. They focus on high grades. What you really need to focus on are a high number of contacts with hiring managers. Those are the important people to be linking up with right now.
That's why I like being here. Like, never listen to a sucker's mentality. I remember so many times in life, people say, oh, isn't that competitive or isn't that difficult? And I think, yeah, it's difficult and competitive, but I'm a competitor. Let's get it. Just, you can't let average people poison your mind. Sure, you'll have to deal with average people in life. They'll work for you. You got to keep driving them. That's why I don't like communists, because they don't make any sense. A communist would say, if a worker helps a business make $100,000, why doesn't the worker get more of the profit? Why are you only paying the worker $30,000 if they were able to create $100,000 in value? Well, they didn't create $100,000 in value. We had to give them structures. We had to give them systems. We had to put them within a company. We had to connect them with other people. We had to make them show up to work on time. We had to give them guidance. We had to give them training. All those things to extract the $100,000 of value out of that individual worker, because they couldn't extract it out of themselves, because they don't have the discipline and the self-belief to get it out of themselves. So we had to create this whole superstructure to pull it out. That's what you're here to do, Saints. You're the leadership class. You pull out the greatest value and you get the greatest reward.
I'm missing sunlight and the ocean to talk to you, and I owe you something? Come on, bro. Like, where do you guys get this stuff? It's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing. Carrying on. Let's get back to this work.
And the reason I have these conversations, I take out time to have these conversations, not because it annoys me that much, but rather because I know your father did not take out the time. I'm taking out the time because your father didn't take out the time. And I don't want you to sound like a fool when it counts. Right now, it doesn't count as much, but it will count when you're at your job and you're trying to move up the corporate ladder. It will count. Just because people repeat things doesn't mean it's true. If it's a saying, that doesn't mean it's true. In fact, it's more likely that I believe you're a low IQ individual. Just like if an individual says something like, don't knock it till you try it. That's a saying. It's been said many times. Does that mean it's true? No. This is a flaw in the human mind. Things get repeated and you accept it as true. This is how you become a Christian. This is how you become a Muslim. You hear these stories repeated, you grow up on them, and then hear, oh, it's the truth, right?
Like you're making up a story right now. I don't believe you. This is nonsense. Anyways.
This comparison basis, that is the thing that steals happiness. It's very well documented historically among wise men that comparing yourself to your neighbor is the surest way to lose out on happiness. I encourage you to be yourself, keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, try to amass a fortune, and have a family that gives an example of how to live and push the society in the right direction.
Family, yes, family is a critical piece. I'm going to take you through all the notes therein, and I actually made a list. So I got a whole page of notes for you. Number one, if you haven't seen the Godfather movie, I would never tell you to turn off my stream, but turn off my stream, watch the movie, and then come back. I don't want to ruin the movie for you because it is indeed a classic, and it's very rare that you get a piece of cinematic art that represents a time period so well, represents an organization, represents a culture, and has so many lessons embedded in it. So I don't want to ruin that for you. But for those of you who have seen The Godfather, let us carry on. Number one, you'll find that the entirety of the movie is really marked by culture. Culture is that thing that regulates your thinking, your behavior, and it allows each person within a culture to be predictable at some level. For example, with the Italians, you know how they're going to greet you. You know how they're going to dress. You even know how their hair is going to be styled. You know who they view as a part of their family or a part of this thing of ours. You know what groups or what ethnicities they look down on. These are all aspects of culture, and you find culture is extremely strong within this movie. But the important thing for us to learn from this is that it's a culture that you self-select into, which really are the most powerful cultures. Because at the end of the day, to be born Vietnamese, Italian, Peruvian, etc., now what does that really mean if you didn't choose to be that?
And, I appreciate those of you who support the work, because I don't get on here babbling. I get on here giving you information that is evergreen. You can look at this information 5 years from now. If you stay sharp out there, you should be able to get a sense of these things. Like, you don't want these things to catch you off guard. That's when it hurts the most. And I often use boxing as a metaphor, because it isn't a great metaphor, in as much as they say it's the punch that you don't see that will knock you out. It's the punch that you don't see that will hurt you. Similarly, if you did not see that your wife could possibly be an adulterer, a liar, a deceiver, then it's going to hurt all the more, because she's torn away a fantasy and torn away a lie that you've sustained yourself on. So I'm encouraging all of you not to be investigators, but to be sharp and to be mindful. And also, you're a man, you're a leader. You are one who is a designer of your life, and design a life where there are fewer opportunities, where human beings have less time to deal with the burden of temptation. So, if you have a woman that's working with a bunch of guys, then we should be trying to design a situation wherein she works in a female-dominated field, or in an office with all women, or she works remotely, or she works for you, or she works with one of the lady saints. That's what you should be trying to design.
And Boss University is the lowest cost of all of them. And you guys, if you observe over time, you'll see my sincerity. So Boss University is the lowest cost course of those three that you mentioned. And I don't know who you are or where you are at in life. I don't know what season of life you're in, but presuming that you're, an everyday man, I recommend that you first would start with Boss University, which is the lowest cost course. So if I was trying to make money, I would say start with Book of Dark Truths, because I think that's the most expensive one. Honestly, I forget exactly what the prices are, because I don't care that much. But I think Book of Dark Truths is the most expensive one. I don't recall, but I know for sure that Boss University is the lowest cost by far. I think it's like 500 something bucks. So it's the lowest cost by far. It's quite an involved course, and in as much as there's a lot of content there, it's across various subject areas that are critical to a man becoming a boss. First a boss of himself, and then he'd be worthy to be a boss of others. That's a foundational course with foundational mindset. I frankly wouldn't even feel comfortable with someone going into the Book of Dark Truths without having that foundation. So I recommend that as a place to start. Now, if you're just like, hey, I want to speak better, I want to communicate better, that's my focus, go get Master Communicator course. That's not necessarily like a graduation thing. Master Communicator course, go get it. But if you're like, hey, I want to be my best, I would say before you mess with that Book of Dark Truths, start with Boss University. You hear me? Get your foundation, because Book of Dark Truths is some high level stuff. I'll probably even increase the price so people can't afford it. Not people, but so it's cost prohibitive, so that people who are not ready for it can't afford it. I'll probably end up doing that because I really stand by the knowledge in there as being very high level.
And people who are broke tend to not value themselves. That's why they don't invest in themselves and become better with more education, more training, more skills, more knowledge, better network. And because they don't value themselves and invest in themselves, and they don't have any money anyways, they create a false ideology to, justify their existence and feel good about their low level. So they're like, yeah, that's too expensive. That's a scam. They're scamming people. No, it's not a scam. They're setting a price, and if you want the good or service, then you pay the price. If you don't value the good or service, you don't pay the price. That's all there is to it. It's very simple, just like this shirt, right? If I charge $30 for the shirt, it is what it is. If you like the shirt, pay your $30. If you don't like the shirt, don't pay it. Or if you like the shirt and you think $30 is too much, then don't pay it. It's simple. There's no scamming. And so that's just very dishonest language. It's the language of the poor. Many of you will not be millionaires. Sorry to break the news. Some of you will. Many of you could be. But most of you don't even really want that. But I tell you what you all want. You all want to be happy, and you all can be happy. There is a path to that. You can achieve that on a regular basis. But the moment at which you keep on comparing yourself, your happiness will be stolen from you. And guess who did it? You did it to yourself. But I'll tell you this. I surmise that every male and female who has less intercourse is more likely to probably have a happy long-term relationship with someone
Less experience is better, especially for the female, So I think that suggesting to a guy that he should go out and have as much intercourse as possible, that's very dangerous, especially to those men who can really get the job done. Truth be told, I remember when I was in university, I was really getting a bachelor's degree, play on words. And there were times that I felt like I should have been getting some credit hours because all the chicks I was taking down, like, I need some credit hours for this shit. But it was not the right thing to do. Now, did I enjoy moments of it? Yes, I absolutely did. But sustaining that, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, it takes a toll. And laying down with low women, they really do steal the various forms of energy from a man. There's nothing worse than associating with a low woman. And we usually do that because of our base and most low desires that are out of control. I'm not saying you shouldn't have intercourse. I think you should. You dig? I think you should, but it's ideal to have it with a woman who loves you, who regards you, whom you know to be clean, whom, if all goes wrong, she has something to lose, one who's likely to be a good mother. So that's how we need to channel that energy. But those who would tell you not to have any intercourse, I'm very suspicious of those persons promoting unnatural living. And we see how unnatural living turns out. Look at the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is filled with predators, mostly of the homosexual variety. And so being repressed is not the answer.
And this is precisely why it's important that someone like me is able to give meaningful context and break down the truth of the matter, because it seems as though for views and clicks, it's much more interesting for a commentator like a Candace Owens to have something creepy to talk about rather than the hard facts.
The entire concept of Boss University is that you must first be a boss of yourself. What is a boss? A boss can get outcomes. You can get someone to do something. So if you can't get yourself to do certain things, whether it's wake up early, exercise, avoid rich foods, avoid soda, sugars, intoxicants, avoid loose women, if you cannot be the boss of yourself, you will never effectively be the boss of much else. That course is a masterwork. And one thing I want to say, which is radically different from all the persons who create courses on the online space, I'm the only one who actually is professionally trained to be a teacher or an instructor. That's number one. And then number two, I'm giving you courses in something that I am trained to do and have been paid to do, which if I give you business education or if I teach you public speaking, I am the best public speaker on the planet Earth. That's number one. And moreover, in terms of business education, I've gotten checks from Northwestern University in Chicago, from other universities. I'm not going to name all of them, but Northwestern, if you know that one, that's very prestigious. I've spoken at their business school, a bunch of schools throughout the country and the world, Koonguk University, that's in South Korea, universities in China as well. So I am an invited lecturer around the world in tech and business, and I get paid to do that. So I do this at a professional level, whereas other people, they're just creating courses, but they're not quite qualified. I say that to say when I create something for you, it's high quality. This is why you listen to me. Because I really lived it. You heard me? When I talk to you, I tell you true stories. I ain't tell you what I heard or what I seen. I tell you what I experienced and lived.
The problem is that people don't know how to operate as a unit, as a family. You can get caught out solo. America taught you wrong. Being an individual is phenomenal. Go into a war as an individual rather than as a army. See what the difference is. You will not win many things as an individual. You have a lot of idiocy on the planet Earth, but let me share some from the Black American community. You hear them say things like, I don't want to do business with friends or family because, I don't want to mix business and pleasure. What? That's stupid. Unless your friends and family are low IQ or degenerate people, then that would make sense. But if your family and friends are degenerates, then you probably are also likely a degenerate. You should want to do business with friends because you choose your friends. So have you not chosen honest friends?
You can feel that texture of the human being that, they gonna ride with you all the way through. You see, there are people that are similar to you. There's something in you that's also in them.
Set some goals that you're serious about. Get serious in life. If you seriously want a good woman, you seriously want to make some money, you will leave the behaviors of a child. A child can't have a good woman and maintain it. A child can't have wealth and maintain it.
I already did my requisite research. I came in ready to go. You can support using the information below. Obviously, Google is a censorship corporation, which is why I would suggest that you use Cash App or PayPal, or I think there might be a tip URL in the description.
In this life, you will be tested with loss of your wealth, loss of your loved ones, loss of your health, many of these things. And some of these challenges are not of your own making. So those are the things that we have to be prepared for and endure them gladly.
If y'all can't get that, how are you going to pass a job interview? How are you going to think of a product idea? How are you going to outsmart your competitors? How are you going to lead your woman? How are you going to influence your children? Come on. Those are called the facts, okay? And you have to be on your P's and Q's. I got a live session that I'm going to do within 24 hours, probably much sooner than that. It's going to be, broadly on self-improvement and business and entrepreneurship, but I have some very specific things that I'm going to address that'll be greatly beneficial to all of you. I highly recommend you tune in. I got my notes together for it. And when I do my proper lectures, they're always well-researched, they're well thought out. And more importantly, I'm speaking not only from what the science might say, but also speaking from experience, an experience that very few have. And that's why uniquely, you see a lot of these guys in the YouTube game, all they've done is YouTube. They don't have much life experience. Not only have I seen the world spin many, many times, but in addition to that, I've been living well for quite a long time, well before YouTube. I've had experiences well before YouTube, been in many industries, and so I can really tell you what's real, not from guesses. Life is too serious for you to rely on someone else's guesses. You feel me? You want to deal with what is factual and reliable. And if I don't know something, I just tell you I don't know. You see, I never purport to be God, the beacon of all knowing. I am the beacon of all knowing. No, I am merely a man. I'm merely a man. I just happen to be a wise man, of which there are very few.
Really think about the moves you make. Think about how you do certain things. Just be thoughtful as men. Be thoughtful as men. Think about the impact of what you do, the impact of what you say. Think about, don't just think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me give you guys some advice on being successful and being a good leader. Good leaders, you're not just thinking for yourself. You're thinking for others as well. You see, intelligent people, we have to think for ourselves and think for others. And knowing that I'd be susceptible to others' poor thinking, you guys might have to think for yourself and think for your wife. You might have to think for yourself and think for your children. You have to plan for yourself and plan for your family. So men, be thoughtful, pay attention. Men are the ones who hold the line in terms of values, morals, and culture.
Be aware. Pay attention, folks.
Be sharp out here. Think about consequences and impact. Anyways, carrying on. If you don't want to be a dusty black male, I'll give you some advice. Do things with purpose. Number 1, value your own time. Try to draw $1 out of your time. Don't emulate the female, because there are things that a woman can do that a man cannot do. For example, a woman can, put a camera on and just brush her hair, and guys will watch it. In fact, there are guys who will pay money to see that. No one's going to pay money to see you brush your hair. At the end of the day, if one is qualified to be the king, then he can deal with all things involved in being a king. A king's appetite, a king's burdens, and a king's privileges. So I appreciate that. And that's why I always remind you, gentlemen, you guys are leaders, and everything that is involved with you being a man, that is an appropriate weight for you. It's not too much weight. It's an appropriate weight, and you should enjoy lifting it. A man speaks with purpose. What are the consequences? What outcome am I seeking?
You need to be thankful to be here. Stop doing crazy stuff. Respect your life, Brody. Come on, man. Remember that sometimes people grow to look at you in a particular way, and there's nothing you can do to change it, even if it's not accurate. Use your brain, young people.
But really, I'd love to see all of you guys do what is best suited for you. Not everyone wants to be rich. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. But all of you guys have a dream that is your own. And I'd love to see you achieve it sooner than later.
You know how to earn, you know how to build product-based businesses. You're always going to be good to go. Because whether it's dollars, pounds, dirhams, or, you know, whatever, you got a good product. People are going to buy it, and they're going to buy it in large quantities, and they're going to buy it frequently, and they're going to buy it over time. They're going to buy it in pounds. They're going to buy it in euros. They're going to buy it in dinars if you got the goods. So if you got the goods, you're always good to go. It doesn't matter what the macroeconomic trend is. People are always going to need to wipe their butt. So they're always going to buy toilet paper. They're always going to need clothes on their back. There's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be wealthy people. So there'll be a market for wealthy people buying luxury clothes and high-end stuff. And there'll be a market for people trying to save $1. There's never been an economic situation wherein people stopped buying. People must consume unless we're all farmers, right? If we're all farmers, then great. You know, people farm, make their own food, and, you know, make their own clothes at home. We're not in that era. We're in the era of the division of labor, specialized workers. So people must buy. It's a necessity. So the question is, do you have something for them to buy? The problem is some of you guys don't. You don't create a product-based business, and you do not have shares in a product-based business. So that's when you suffer more. There you go.
So anything that you do with excellence and creativity, you can make successful. And you can also find ways to do it remotely or part-time or at a high level. You know, there's some people who are barbers, but they're only barbers for celebrities. If you're not a celebrity, they won't cut your hair, right? And they charge a premium. So those are the things that you have to consider as you're building.
The gentleman said he created a $2 bill honoring Donald Trump's potential second term. That's actually quite smart and timely. Always good to do it before you get the jump. And he writes it's on imagineonward.store. So that's his URL. Check him out.
You spend your dollar with those who do not love you, never to see those dollars return to your community. And for your ignorance, you blame your economic ills on systemic racism rather than your own enduring ignorance. But let us not wallow in the valley of despair, for I have a plan. I have a plan, I say, for ensuring that one day our people will rise up and be truly proud, for we know who we are. And like the Armenians, we know our history, and that enslavement was a mere blink in the long history of the black man and woman. I have a plan that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons and daughters of black nuclear families will sit together with white and Asian children in true equality, not because we say they are equal, but because our children prepare, perform, and achieve at equal levels. I have a plan, I say. I plan for ownership. For a time, our ancestors were owned by enslavers, and today some of you still are. Do you own yourself while you sit in a government jail cell? Do you own yourself? The simple remedy is ownership. Owning yourself, owning the jobs, owning the police force. I have a plan, I say. And to see this plan through, all it takes is intelligent and consistent work. We will be able to hew out of the valley of material lack a stone of hope. With this plan, we will draw on our internal wealth to manifest the material abundance which we have been denied since we arrived on a slave ship named Jesus. Our grandmothers and grandfathers endured the hard part. Sit-ins, incarcerations, marching, and protest demonstrations. We must take the liberty of sitting at the front of the classroom. Above all, the plan is for financial freedom, true ownership. So I invite you to work with me in executing this plan so that the dream is not just a dream.
Everything's going to work out. Don't stress. Don't feel like you're struggling. And number two, to enjoy the whole way through. enjoy every moment of it. You won't always have your hair. You won't always have your good looks. You won't always have your strength. You won't always have certain friends. They'll be deceased. So every moment, enjoy it in the present and live it like it's the last one.
And I just want to encourage you guys to seek greater meaning. There's so many of these clowns on the internet that are talking about, I want to be a millionaire. I'll teach you how to be a millionaire. Or I'm going to be a billionaire. It's like, getting money is fantastic. I highly recommend it, but that's not the measure of a man or of anything.
So sometimes you go brain dead watching life, forgetting to live life. What I mean is that you should be asking yourself, am I watching life right now, or am I living life? And every time you should be trying to live life.
Ladies and saints, let us end this with our tradition.
With the creed of the SASN. Repeat after me with full conviction, knowing this is true of you.
The creed of the SASN.
I am going to be who I truly am.
Because I am remarkable.
And I'm going to strive every moment
To show the greatest part. To show the greatest part.
to show the greatest part of who I am.
Until next time.